subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Estimated time is 5 minutes. A progress bar appeared in front of Chen Fang. There's still 5 minutes just to try the Scion blood. After gaining the ability, Chen Fang only felt a burst of blood throbbing all over his body, which was a completely different feeling from Sage Body. Only when the Sage Body is released, it makes him feel that his state is completely different from before, but now he feels the exciting power in his body and feels that he is no longer a human being. Science should understand Qi very quickly, Chen Fang muttered, and immediately began to study. The current him doesn't need any other abilities. His physical strength, speed, and defensive power are no less than the state of Sage Body. With a random punch, the wind of the fist shattered the chair in the distance. With a thought, Chen Fang floated up again. At first, he was a little unfamiliar, but after a while, Chen Fang completely adapted to flying. 5 minutes passed quickly, and Chen Fang was also familiar with the Scion blood. At this time, the construction of the branch was just over. Ding! The construction of the branch is over. The host can go through this door and go to any branch venue at will. Only Ghost Slayer World for now. Following Xiao Bai's introduction, a door of light appeared beside Chen Fang. This is the portal. Chen Fang stepped on the door and left, feeling the light around his body constantly flickering, as if time and space were constantly changing. But all this happened in an instant. Chen Fang walked out from the portal. It was still the familiar auction venue, and Xiao Bai also appeared beside him, as if nothing had changed. The next moment, Chen Fang appeared outside the auction venue in a flash. The wisteria trees all over the place, under the illumination of the setting sun, shine with quiet brilliance. Chen Fang slowly floated up, and what he saw were continuous mountain peaks. Except for a courtyard nearby, there were some densely populated places far away. The scenery is pretty good, but is it located in such a remote place? Chen Fang didn't think much about it. When he came to such a world, he had to think about what to auction. What's going on? Why did a building suddenly appear? Impossible! It's impossible for us to be unaware of the construction near the headquarters of our ghost killing squad. Could it be built overnight? This can't be done by a ghost with supernatural abilities, right? I haven't heard of ghosts with such supernatural abilities either. There are wisteria flowers everywhere here. Ghosts can't come here, even if they want to. The building that Chen Fang saw was the headquarters of the Ghost Slayer World Ghost Slayer team. The very first time the Tian Auction House appeared, the well-informed ghost killing team received the news. The 9 pillar-level members all exploded. As the strongest members of the ghost killing squad, none of them were aware of this sudden building. It is not a simple matter to suddenly erect a building near their headquarters. It's not a trivial matter. Go and have a look. Yoya Yashiki, who was dressed in white, came out of the room with a dignified expression. Although he couldn't see it from the news he got, he could clearly know that this was a very magnificent building. Such a strange place cannot be left alone. After a few clicks, several column-level personnel disappeared from the yard. The Heaven's Auction House. Purgatory Xingqiang stared at the big characters on the gate of the auction house with wide eyes and said every word. His eyes were full of disbelief. Auction house. Why is it here? The question is, how did this auction house be built overnight? Yusui Tianyuan stepped forward and said, "It seems that you can go in. Let's go in and have a look first." With a smile on his face, Butterfly jumped and walked in. Is there any danger in this place? Maybe there really are. They said so, but the expressions of the two showed no fear, and they walked in swaggeringly. Chen Fang didn't have the authority to close the door, as long as he didn't exclude anyone. They could enter the auction venue at will. After all, this is an auction venue, and the more people who come, the better. So Chen Fang has never actively restricted it. Welcome to my auction venue, but the auction hasn't started yet. I'm afraid you will have to make a trip in vain. As soon as this voice appeared, the 3 of them became vigilant for a moment and made gestures of drawing their swords one after another. We saw that Chen Fang was alone. He didn't make a move immediately. Are you the master here? Yusui Tianyuan asked Chen Fang with an arrogant look on his face. That's right. This is the Heavens Auction House, and a grand auction will be held here soon. And all the things you will auction will be the items you need. The auction seems to be very interesting. Chong Chong looked at the magnificently decorated venue with a look of interest. Why did you build the address here? And how did you build it here? Purgatory Xingxilang asked Chen Fang. Whereas this place is not something that should be concerned about now. The point is that such a building is in this place, and the location of the headquarters of their ghost-killing team is not a secret. This question is not something you should consider. Wherever I want to be, I will be there. The corner of Chen Fang's mouth outlines a confident arc. He recognized these guys as soon as they entered the door. They were the pillar-level members of the ghost-killing squad. The highest combat power came to such a hidden auction house so quickly, and Chen Fang quickly determined that the building not far away that he saw just now was probably their headquarters. This system is really interesting. Instead of building the auction house in the town, it is built directly near the headquarters of the ghost-killing squad. It's really convenient for their ghost-killing team. What nonsense are you talking to him? Just demolish this place. Yusui Tianyuan drew his sword directly. If you don't want to die, then leave quickly. This kind of building is not allowed in this place. Yusui Tianyuan looked at Chen Fang coldly. The two knives were shining with cold light. Chapter 22 9 Pillars in Susanoo Town. This is my place from today on, isn't it? You ghost killers. Are you going to attack a defenseless person like me now? I don't eat people. Seeing Yusui Tianyuan's eagerness to try, Chen Fang spread his hands, joking as if he didn't feel any danger. Purgatory Xingxilang frowned slightly. Their ghost-killing team is the nemesis of all ghosts, but they also kill ghosts to protect humans. Now, they're doing the opposite when they attack humans. Sir, it's not that we want to take action against you, but the location of your auction house really bothers us too much. The headquarters of our ghost-killing team is nearby. It's really not good for us to build your auction house here. Action. Butterfly explained to Chen Fang with a bright smile. Diren, why did you tell him everything? Yusui Tianyuan, who was on the side, heard this and quickly scolded. Sir, you already know who we are, and it will be a matter of time before you know this. What can you say? If Mr. is considerate and leaves on his own initiative, wouldn't there be no conflicts? With a smile on the corner of Mocha's mouth, he looked at Chen Fang wisely. This is a bit embarrassing. Since my auction house has already been established here, I will not change the location. If you are afraid of being exposed, then change the location, but I suggest that you don't bother to come closer to my auction house. It's not a bad thing. Big words. Yusui Tianyuan was furious. What did you say to make them take the initiative to change places? No one in this continent would dare to say such a thing. Although it is said that he will not kill people easily, but now he must give Chen Fang some color. Yusui Tianyuan flashed his body, and his speed was extremely fast, wanting to make Chen Fang suffer a lot. Then, just when he thought he could attack Chen Fang, a purple light curtain suddenly appeared on Chen Fang's body surface, like a piece of armor. Yusui Tianyuan didn't want to kill anyone, so he just attacked with the handle of a knife, and the handle of a knife hit the purple light curtain, and now he couldn't get an inch in. Yusui Tianyuan backed away quickly, knowing that Chen Fang was not a good person. His eyes became more vigilant. It's impolite to strike at the slightest disagreement. Chen Fang removed Susanoo from his hand. The big eyes of the three were full of doubts. What exactly is this ability? 3. My auction house is not a place where gold and silver are auctioned. Instead, there will be all kinds of strange items, either healing holy medicine or items that can greatly enhance strength or peerless items. Weapons. All kinds of goodies are beyond your imagination. Did you see the purple light on my arm just now? This is one of the items in my auction house. With me, there are only things you can't think of and nothing I don't have. Just imagine, if you have this armor, when you kill ghosts, you don't kill one by one. As Chen Fang said, purple light flashed all over his body, and the majestic Susanoo emerged from behind. The faint purple light seemed to be an evil spirit coming out of the depths of hell, and the majesty released by the majestic figure was like a god above the 9 heavens. The three of them were stunned by the huge figure. This ability, they have never heard of it, never seen it. What is this? Yu Sui Tianyuan raised his head, completely stupefied. This is the item in my auction. Why, do you want it? Chen Fang looked at Yu Sui Tianyuan and said with a teasing smile. Having just arrived in this strange world, these people don't know much about the auction house, so it is very necessary for them to learn about the auction house. You could try attacking me and use your blade recklessly. This time, Yu Sui Tianyuan hesitated. I just used the handle of the knife just to scare Chen Fang, but I didn't really want to do anything to him. With a blade, the meaning is different. The knives of the ghost-killing team have always been used to attack ghosts, not to kill people. It's okay, just come, if you don't try it. How will you know if the goods from my auction house are good? We won't do anything to ordinary people. Yu Sui Tianyuan retracted the saber into its scabbard. Since it couldn't scare the person in front of him, it was useless to draw the saber. Can ordinary people open an auction house here? The things I have here will help you kill ghosts in the future. If you don't try it, how can you participate in the auction with confidence? And I'm not asking you to cut me. Cut this guy. Chen Fang did not enter Susanoo, leaving her alone. Then try it. Having said all of this, he also wanted to test how strong this godlike giant in front of him was. Yu Sui Tianyuan clenched the handle of the knife. The cold blade was shining with cold light and went straight to Susanoo. Susanoo just stood there motionless, allowing Yu Sui Tianyuan to chop up. No resistance. Purgatory, Xingqiang exclaimed. I didn't get out of the way, Butterfly Ninja said. He originally thought it would be a battle, but the purple giant released by Chen Fang just stood there and was beaten. What? Yu Sui Tianyuan was surprised again. His double blades, which can easily break through boulders, landed on the purple giant, but it has no effect at all. Why? Have you never met such a hard ghost? Chen Fang said with a smile. Yu Sui Tianyuan frowned, then stepped back and shouted, Explosion! Boom! A violent explosion occurred at the place Yu Sui Tianyuan cut just now. This is Yu Sui Tianyuan's special explosive, so it won't be effective, right? Purgatory Xingqiang said uncertainly from the side. You're right. Butterfly stared straight at the explosion with his calm eyes shining brightly. The smoke dissipated, and there was no damage at all. Impossible. Yu Sui Tianyuan couldn't believe it. Can't even break through the defense? Purgatory Xingqiang looked at Susanoo, also in shock. How is it? Chen Fang looked at the three of them with a smile. The defense is really good, but I don't know how to attack. Yu Sui Tianyuan looked at Susanoo with a fighting spirit in his eyes. Since it's not about killing people, Yu Sui Tianyuan is also ready to fight this big guy. Then continue. Chen Fang stood on the spot and manipulated Susanoo. After a few moves, Yu Sui Tianyuan was nailed to the wall. It's too strong. Even if I fight with Yu Sui Tianyuan, I won't be an opponent. Purgatory Xingqiang looked serious, extremely serious. We might really need this place. Butterfly Shinobi's eyes flashed with strange light. At the end of the battle, Yu Sui Tianyuan stood aside in embarrassment. Although he lost, he was indeed full of energy. It is possible for him to buy such a powerful method. I still don't know how to address you. Dai Dai asked Chen Fang. My name is Chen Fang. My name is Dai Dai Run, and this is Yu Sui Tianyuan. Dai Dai Run said, not forgetting to introduce Yu Sui Tianyuan. At the same time, Purgatory Xingqiang spoke by himself. Purgatory Xingqiang. It turned out to be the famous 9 pillars. I have admired it for a long time. Chen Fang also politely said. The three of them were secretly startled. They were not famous people, and ordinary people would not know them. Chapter 23, Ghost Slayer World Shock. Bounty 1 billion. How did you auction it off? Butterfly asked Chen Fang reluctantly. After being surprised, he immediately remembered what Chen Fang said just now. If it was as Chen Fang said, those auction items were exactly what they needed. In my auction house, only resource points are accepted, and your money can also be exchanged for resource points. However, 10,000 yuan can only be exchanged for a few resource points. Other gold, silver, soft, and rare materials can be exchanged. I will give you the most fair proportion. When will the auction start? Butterfly Ninja asked again. When I confirm the time, I will notify you. Do you have any questions now? Then what items will be included in the first auction? Since Chen Fang just said so many things, Butterfly Shinobi also wanted to inquire a little bit. By the way, items. Having said that, Chen Fang's eyes lightened slightly. About the auction items, I will tell you only during the auction. I still have something to do. You can go back first. Chen Fang didn't wait for the three of them to answer. Anyway, the introduction was over, and he didn't believe that these guys wouldn't come. Butterfly Ninja wanted to say something, but suddenly found that they had already arrived outside the auction house. When they wanted to go in again, they found a light curtain blocking them, and the door was closed. It's too weird. Let's go back and report first. Butterfly said with lingering fear. For a moment, he didn't know what happened, but he came from the inside to the outside. Yusue Tunyuan and Purgatory Xingqiang also looked terrified. They had never met a ghost before, but just now, they really felt like bewitched. This is the world of Ghost Slayer. Basically, I don't go into the sea. The side effects of devil fruit are minimal. I can do it myself. There are so many good things in Pirate World. Take them and sell them to make a lot of money. Chen Fang closed the auction house and began to ponder. Ghost Slayer World is not like One Piece World, where there are all sorts of strange things, which also allowed Chen Fang to discover business opportunities. After all, if the things provided by the auction house are auctioned, he can only get about half of the commission. If it's something you got yourself, by the way, just ask. Xiao Bai, if I get the auction items myself, how much will the auction house charge? It must be impossible to take them all. Chen Fang asked directly. If the host buys the auction item by himself, the auction house will only charge a 10% commission, and the other resource points will belong to the host. Huh, sure enough. Chen Fang was delighted, and then stepped into the portal. It's time to prepare for the auction. Back in One Piece World, looking at the empty arena, Chen Fang waved his hand and changed. The venue instantly turned into a villa, with a garden in front and a lake in the back, and the ceiling became transparent, allowing sunlight to pour in. In an instant, the deserted scene became more lively. The environment became very livable, but Chen Fang frowned. What was he still thinking about? No, there's almost something that's right. Chen Fang clapped his hands and immediately disappeared in place. Rayleigh, it looks like you're out of luck today. Rayleigh, don't lose your last booze money. Forget it. It seems that today's luck is not good. Come back tomorrow. Rayleigh left the table with a smile on his last Pele. That's the last point. What else can I buy? Rayleigh looked at Bailey in his hand, looking very distressed, and laughed at the people around him. There's so many more. I could buy a lot here. Would you like to go to my place for a few drinks? Seeing Chen Fang approaching, Rayleigh's eyes became sharp immediately, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. My meager defeat. I'm afraid I can't even get in the door of your auction house. Mr. Rayleigh, don't say that. My auction house has never restricted people's access. Chen Fang looked up and smiled. Then I'll go and sit for a while. When he heard that there was a drink, Rayleigh didn't refuse. Coincidentally, he also wanted to meet this wonderful owner of the auction house. This can't be Chen Fang. Why is he here? 1 billion criminals have come to this place. As soon as Chen Fang appeared, the surrounding people all recognized him. Although many people did not go to the auction house to watch the excitement, but now, basically no one does not know him, because his reward order has come out. 8 billion. Hey, you don't know yet? See for yourself. Rayleigh took out a newspaper and handed it to Chen Fang. Then let's talk as we go. In a noisy place like the casino, Chen Fang couldn't say anything, so he walked out first with the newspaper. Chen Fang took Rayleigh and walked towards the auction. On the way, he gave an open newspaper. There's also a reward order in the newspaper, which is exactly the appearance of him standing in front of the auction table with his hands open, with a faint smile on his face. Under his smile, there is a reward amount of 1 billion Baileys. I also severely recorded his bad deeds in the newspaper. There is only one thing, and that is to slaughter celestial dragons and their guards. As for the latter matters, the world government tried its best to suppress them. Then there are some embellished descriptions, such as some extremely vicious people who pose a huge threat to the sea, and so on. Chen Fang looked at it with a slight smile and casually threw the reward order aside. This was expected, and there was no need to pay special attention to it. What interested him were 2 other headlines in the paper. Marine Rear Admiral, who was in charge of escorting Suzumabachi, betrayed Marine. After killing all his companions, he ran away with a knife and is now wanted. What Marine took so much effort to photograph was taken away by his own people. Gart must be so mad. You don't pay attention to your own affairs. Rayleigh looked at Chen Fang and said with a smile, "These are just expected things, nothing to be concerned about." But this guy Whitebeard was so strong when he was young. Kaido was photographed by him to the bottom of the sea. Chen Fang looked at another headline in the newspaper and said, "That guy's strength was really good when he was young, but he wasn't that strong at that time. After such a long time, the fruit ability has been developed to ultimate, and the state can only be achieved when the state returns to youth." Rayleigh continued, "Worthy of Pluton Rayleigh, right on point." Chen Fang turned his head, eyes slightly narrowed, with a smile on his lips, looked at Rayleigh and said. Rayleigh's eyes flashed, and then he laughed too. "Sure enough, you found out. Why did you call me a bad old man for drinking? It must be a good thing to find you. Let's go in and talk about it." The two had already arrived in front of the auction house, and Chen Fang walked in first. Rayleigh didn't hesitate either and followed through the shield. When walking over, I didn't forget to take another look at the golden light curtain. Even though it's not the first time, I still feel amazing. The world government can't break through the protective shield with all means, but they can shuttle in at will, which is really amazing. Chapter 24 Attract Rayleigh with Matai. Ghost Slayer World Storm. This auction house is completely under my control. As long as I don't want to, no one can break through. Otherwise, come and go freely. Chen Fang seemed to see Rayleigh's doubts and said while walking, "So it is." Rayleigh replied with a smile. "The world is big, full of wonders, and it is understandable to be able to do this." Opening the door, Rayleigh froze again. "This is not an auction venue. This is simply a paradise. As I said just now, everything in this auction house is under my control. When the auction is not held, this is the place to live." As he spoke, Chen Fang waved his hand, and a road made of gold appeared in front of the two of them. Rayleigh has traveled across the sea for many years, and few things surprised him. After being in a daze, he quickly regained his composure, followed Chen Fang to the lake and sat down, enjoying the warmth of the sun. "The wine is here." Chen Fang waved his hand again, and various wines appeared on the table, and all wines from all over the world. "Mr. Rayleigh, let's drink one first." Chen Fang poured a glass of Matai first. Seeing Chen Fang conjure up these things suddenly, Rayleigh is no longer surprised. "Since there is already wine, let's take a couple of sips first." Rayleigh sniffed the aroma of the wine. His eyes lit up instantly and couldn't bear it anymore. He drank a full glass of Matai. It's strong enough, it's fragrant enough. Have another cup." Although the sea is infinitely wide, Rayleigh, also confidently ran 7 out of 10. He has tasted fine wines from all over the world, but there are very few such delicious and vigorous wines. Rayleigh's interest was instantly high. "Mr. Rayleigh, don't worry, there are still many wines to taste." Chen Fang poured another glass of 1982 Lafite. Rayleigh took a gulp, closed his eyes involuntarily, and tasted it. Know how to drink and taste naturally. Opening his eyes again, his eyes were shining brightly. "Okay." Looking at the dazzling array of fine wines on the table, Rayleigh hadn't been this excited for a long time. "Tell me, what do you want from me?" After drinking for a while, Rayleigh asked Chen Fang, "Mr. Rayleigh, what do you think of my auction house?" Chen Fang smiled mysteriously. "The Tiantian auction house is really amazing. If I hadn't been here in person, I wouldn't even believe it." Rayleigh looked at all the scenes around him, still admiringly said, "Since Mr. Rayleigh thinks it's good, why don't you stay here? I just need a housekeeper here." Chen Fang immediately struck while the iron was hot and said immediately, "Hey, you're waiting for me here. If you invite me to drink so much, I know you have no good intentions. But since I chose to quit, then I have no plan to come back again. You should give up this idea. I will make up for your drink money today." After all, Rayleigh got up and wanted to leave. "Mr. Rayleigh, don't worry. You can mention any conditions you want. You usually have nothing else to do here. It's just a change of place to live. When I'm not here, you'll be in charge here. During the auction, you'll just be in charge of the order." Chen Fang blocked it while quickly explaining. "You don't need to explain. I know what the butler means. Isn't it just to help you check the door and deal with security matters? But I'm not interested. Rayleigh waved his hand and continued to walk out. Stay here. The food and wine will be different every day, Mr. Rayleigh. I can guarantee that every wine here you will not find the same anywhere in the sea. Chen Fang's language changed, and he began to have some fun. Rayleigh's unwavering footsteps also paused, and he couldn't help but look back at the table full of fine wine. His experience made him have to trust Chen Fang. There was really nothing outside. It's fine if it's just one or two kinds, but there are dozens of kinds of fine wine here. And according to Chen Fang, there are more. Chen Fang's eyes lit up, and he knew there was something going on, so he hurriedly said, Mr. Rayleigh, I believe you have seen everything in the auction. There are only things you can't think of here, and there is nothing I can't get out. These fine wines, to show my sincerity, Mr. Rayleigh, in future auctions, as long as there is a lot you fancy, I can make an exception and allow you to win one at the starting price. If this news is released, it is estimated that people who want to come here to do odd jobs will have to line up from East Blue to North Blue. The auction items in the Tiantian Auction House are all hot and good things, and the starting price is completely useless. If you can get it at the starting price, it's like picking up money on the side of the road. Thinking of these fine wines, Rayleigh, who had just had a full drink, couldn't help smacking his lips again. Forget it. How about being crazy? This place is also quite interesting. Having made a decision, Rayleigh didn't hesitate anymore and sat back at the table again. Drink, drink. Okay, the next day, Rayleigh came to the auction house with simple luggage. There are many places to live in the villa. Chen Fang asked him to choose one at random. Mr. Rayleigh, I give you permission to come in and out as you please. I have something to do in the next few days, so I'll trouble you to take care of it here. It's okay to leave. Just leave me some wine. Look over there. Chen Fang pointed to a room. When Rayleigh opened the door, a smile spread across the corner of his mouth. What caught his eyes was rows of wine cabinets. The whole house was full of his favorite wines. After setting up Rayleigh, Chen Fang flew straight out of the Sabati archipelago. A few days later, he returned to the auction house. After returning, Chen Fang directly stepped into the portal without disturbing Rayleigh, who was drunk and sleeping. Ghost destroys the world. Major cities and towns. The first Heavens auction. Improving strength. Changing destiny. And going to the Tiantian auction? This is too exaggerated. If you dare to say that, there may be something there. It's not bad to go and see the excitement. Chen Fang, who had prepared the auction items, came directly to the world of Ghost Slayer. The branch did not have the function of sending invitations with one click, so Chen Fang made some leaflets and sent them to major towns in person. After all, this is New World's first wave of auctions, so the publicity still needs to be in place. Otherwise, there will only be Ghost Slayers, and then he and the Ghost Slayers will be doing business alone. Why is it called an auction? The auction is about to begin. Is it finally about to start? Everyone in the ghost killing team naturally got the news. After leaving from Chen Fang, they have been waiting for the news. After the three of them reported the details of their meeting with Chen Fang, the safe obstetrician Yayashiki chose to wait and see calmly. Their enemies are ghosts, not this auction house. Although what he said was a bit mysterious, he also had some expectations for the auction house. If you don't have a mission, follow me to have a look. Yes. Chapter 25 Auction Devil Fruit. The auction will be held as scheduled. Under Chen Fang's operation, the area around the venue was cleaned up by Chen Fang in order to let more people find it. He also erected a tall flag on the roof of the auction house. It is also worthy of Chen Fang's dedication. On the day of the auction, there was an endless stream of people coming and going. Yashiki took a few pillar-level personnel and sat in the auction house early. I heard that this auction house has a big tone, but I want to see what good things it has. Then, a burly man in armor walked in. After the people around saw this person, they all stayed away from him. Obviously, this is also a person with a head and a face. There were a few people who were famous like this, and soon, the entire venue was full. Of course, most of the people who came here were spectators from the nearest town. Even these generals are here. If the items in this auction are not good, the auction house may suffer. I heard that even members of the Ghost Killing Squad are here. The battle is not small. When was this auction house built? Why had you never heard of it? Yes, but let alone, the decoration is really gorgeous. The people who came and looked around one by one. Most of the people who came here were out of curiosity. Of course, this wave of publicity by Chen Fang is also indispensable. Welcome everyone to my auction house. Today is the first auction. I hope everyone can gain something. Standing on the stage, Chen Fang spoke the opening remarks as usual, and the whole scene gradually quieted down. Next, I will introduce to you the rules of this auction house. Chen Fang repeated the rules, causing an uproar in the audience. They don't have an obvious concept of how to exchange gold, silver, treasures, etc., but a little resource point of 10,000 yuan is a sky-high price. Many people are just civilians and simply cannot afford such a price. When the rules came out, most of the people had a disgusted look on their faces. One resource point is 10,000 yuan, so grab money here. I want to see what is so valuable. Hey, what is the first lot? Take it out and have a look. Yeah, let's see what is so valuable. Many ordinary people shouted in displeasure. As soon as the rules came out, they knew that they were no longer able to participate. Even watching the fun, the feeling of being excluded made them very uncomfortable. Chen Fang has long been used to doubting voices. Without you, these shouting people took out a box. This is the first lot in this lot, devil fruit. Chen Fang opened the box, and a fruit that looked a bit like a pineapple, but with irregular bumps all over the surface and a jet black color that was hard to swallow was displayed in front of everyone. If you eat it, you will have magical powers. This is Zoan's devil fruit. As the name suggests, after eating it, the human body will turn into some kind of animal. But it doesn't mean to become that kind of small animal, but to possess the characteristics of that animal under the condition of changing a certain shape. Moreover, it will greatly increase its own strength and can continue to improve through exercise. In the world of Ghost Slayer, devil fruit is something unheard of before, so Chen Fang also spent a lot of time explaining it. They only have the breathing method here, and it is too difficult to get in touch with other abilities. It is definitely difficult to accept the saying that one can get abilities by eating a fruit, so Chen Fang took the trouble to explain. Sure enough, after hearing Chen Fang's explanation, the audience booed a lot. Don't lie. One fruit can obtain magical power. So who will train? Ha ha, it's ridiculous. That thing doesn't look like it's for people to eat. What's so great about turning into an animal? What if I turn into a mouse? Ha ha ha. Not to mention these civilians. After hearing this explanation, Miyashiki frowned. Listen, why is it so unreliable? Facing the familiar questioning voice, Chen Fang was not in a hurry. Everyone, please watch the big screen. Although there is no effect of this fruit, Chen Fang still sorted out a lot of Zoan fruits and the scene after eating them. After CP9 and the others ate the fruit, the fighting power broke out, and those who laughed and questioned suddenly shut up. Of course, Chen Fang did not release their final fate, and immediately released the scene of Kaido turning into a dragon and flying away. This time, it scared everyone into a fool. This is a giant dragon. Can it also be transformed by a human? Everyone has seen that these people have this transformation ability because they ate Zoan devil fruit. The one in my hand is the fruit with this ability. The starting price is 10,000 resource points, and each bidding price must not be lower than 1,000. This is a bit too pervert. People can turn into animals, and their strength is so much stronger. It's too powerful. No matter it's true or not, it's worth a try. No wonder you say you can change your destiny. If you eat one of these, you won't be afraid of walking at night. It's just a video. Who knows if it's true or not? Such a real picture. Although I don't know where it happened, but I think it's real. That giant dragon. Wow. So handsome. So fierce. After the video was played, doubts decreased a lot as expected. Chen Fang's explanation was very clear, and most people changed their attitudes. Some people even became more fanatical, and the eyes of several generals lit up. It is difficult to confirm the devil fruit on the spot, but Chen Fang still chose it as the first lot. After all, this is the first auction in the world of Ghost Slayer, and only rare items like devil fruit can hold the place. Butterfly Shinobu, do you think it's credible? Ubiyashiki couldn't see it. but he could also feel the sincerity in Chen Fang's words, and he could also hear the noises in the video. I think I can give it a try. Thinking of the purple giant on Chen Fang's body last time. What's so strange about this transformed animal? 11,000 resource points. The ghost killing team was the first to make an offer. 15,000 points. A general offered the price directly. Being rich and powerful, he didn't bother to add it once and for all, and he glanced at Ubuyashiki contemptuously as he spoke. 30,000. In terms of financial resources, Ubuyashiki has never been afraid of others, and just now he was just a small tester, but he didn't expect this guy to pretend to be with him. Oh, we don't have our share. At this price, most people can only sigh. The general was also stunned for a moment, and then he shouted, "Why did it cost 30,000 in one fell swoop?" Except for Ubuyashiki, the others didn't bring enough money at all. Even the general didn't expect the things here to be so expensive, and the whole scene fell silent. Ubuyashiki had no expression on his face and arranged for people to exchange resource points, devil fruit, and deliver them to him. Chapter 26 Ghost Dance Suji's Miserable Panic. Next is our second lot. Boom! Before Chen Fang could finish speaking, the door of the clubhouse was suddenly thrown open and a monster about the size of several people ran in from outside. Because it was during the auction, in order to make it easier for everyone to enter and exit, Chen Fang did not activate the defense mechanism of the auction house at all. Something broken suddenly, and Chen Fang was also very surprised. It's a ghost. As soon as this thing comes in, everyone in the ghost-killing team immediately prepares for your offensive posture. A lot of meat, all of it is mine. As soon as the monster came in, it opened its bloody mouth wide and looked at the panicked crowd around it, smiling bloodily. Then it depends on who grabs it faster. After the monster rushed in, another group of ghosts rushed out from behind him. Seeing this venue full of food, these ghosts were all very excited. "Ah, it's a ghost, run away." This group of monsters rushed in suddenly, and the whole crowd immediately became panicked. The members of the ghost-killing team didn't hesitate any longer. They drew their swords and rushed over one by one, trying not to let these ghosts hurt people. A group of shrimp soldiers and crab generals come here to join the fun. Disappear. Just when this group of ghosts was about to make a big fuss, Chen Fang waved his hand. The group of ghosts didn't know what happened, but they watched themselves disappear into this space with their own eyes. Everyone was stunned, especially those ordinary people. They thought their doomsday would come after this group of ghosts came in. Who would have thought that this group of ghosts would have disappeared before they left their seats? Everyone in the ghost-killing squad immediately turned to look at Chen Fang. This group of ghosts definitely did not disappear out of thin air. It was obviously caused by Chen Fang. "I'm sorry to panic everyone. I promise. Nothing will disturb the auction." Chen Fang immediately comforted everyone, and at the same time opened the defense of the protective shield. It was solved like this. Snake Zhu Ihe Zaibanei froze in place. After the three of Yusue Tianyuan went back last time, he also heard a little about the auction house, but she didn't take it seriously because she didn't experience it personally. Now it seems that it is even more evil than what the three of them said. With a wave of hands, a group of ghosts were wiped out. How strong is this guy? This boss is too powerful. Those were all evil spirits just now. I didn't expect to be eliminated with a wave of hands. No wonder you can take out such a magical item. Scared me to death. I thought I became food in the ghost's mouth just now. The audience are also rejoicing for the rest of their lives. Even if there's a ghost-killing team here, but it was a large group of ghosts just now. If they were accidentally bitten twice, they would die. It's really strong. Yuya Ubuyashiki touched the box containing the devil fruit in his hand, and his trust in Chen Fang increased a bit. Although he couldn't see it, he could still clearly feel what had just happened. A group of not weak ghosts were all instantly killed by Chen Fang with a wave of his hand. Even he can't imagine what kind of strength it should be able to do. It's too strong. If he joins our ghost-killing team, our goal will definitely be accomplished faster. Purgatory Xingqiang looked at Chen Fang with burning eyes. Last time he thought that Chen Fang was already very strong, but this time he found that Chen Fang's strength was beyond his imagination. Then do you want to ask him? Amroji Mitsuri joked. Remember, no matter what, don't provoke him easily. Yoya Miyashiki said in a deep voice. At this moment, Chen Fang's voice continued to come out, and several people fell silent, listening to Chen Fang's introduction. The second item in the auction is Shirkwan Daba meat. After eating, it can improve your physical fitness and make your body fully improved. In order to let everyone experience the product better, I processed a part of it for you to taste. Chen Fang took out several pieces of cooked meat and placed them in front of the table. These meats are all the sea kings that he went to the calm belt to hunt and kill himself. People in the world of pirates can improve their physique after eating these meats, let alone those with weaker physiques in the world of Ghost Slayer. I want to try, and compared with the previous video, this direct attempt was more welcomed by everyone present. Only after trying it can you realize the usefulness of the product more. Chen Fang didn't say much, as if very casually. He threw these pieces of meat into the auditorium. It just happened to land in front of several generals and the ghost-killing team, and the remaining few pieces were snatched by ordinary people. The meat soccer balls in the lot were loaded into a truckload, and these sent out were just a drop in the bucket, and Chen Fang didn't care about anything. Let me try. Before the other people could react, Purgatory Xingqiang took the meat and stuffed it into his mouth. Others looked enviously at these people who got the meat. Great! I feel like I can kill a cow now. After one person finished eating, he suddenly yelled, and when the whole person tried his best, his shirt exploded in all directions. It's fine if it's delicious, but it still gives you endless energy. A general's confidant shouted at the same time. It's amazing. I feel like my body is full of fire. I'm about to spew out fire. Purgatory Xingqiang stared at the big box behind Chen Fang with his eyes wide open. Does it taste good? Ganlusi Mitsuri asked with blinking eyes. The taste is tender and smooth, and it tastes better than all the meat I have eaten before. Purgatory Xingqiang looked aftertaste. Ganlusi Mealy was almost drooling when she heard that, and she also looked at the box behind Chen Fang, eager to see through it. It must be photographed. After the generals knew the effect of the meat, they immediately made up their minds. Take it, said Yasuya Fuki with no expression on his face. Purgatory Xingqiang looked excited and was only going to help bid. The base price is 5,000 resource points, and each price increase must not be less than 500. 6,000. 6,005. Just as the auction house was in full swing, in a luxurious room in a distant town, Onamai Tsujimusai, dressed as a human, had a terrified look on his handsome face. After learning that the auction started, he sent the group of ghosts to find out the news. Unexpectedly, they were all instantly killed just after entering the door. This is not simply being killed, but being killed instantly or a group of people. This time, he didn't dare to approach the auction house at all. Although he didn't know what happened, he knew that that place was definitely the most dangerous place. Absolutely don't go to that place, Wumi said to himself, making the auction house a forbidden area. 20,000 resource points. After a fierce competition, Sea King's meat was also photographed at a high price of 20,000 yuan, and the bid was still from the ghost-killing team. Although some generals could afford it, no matter what, it was just meat, so they didn't fight anymore. The Demon Slayer squad successfully placed another auction item, and the people next to Yoya Ubuyashiki were all overjoyed. Especially Mitsuri of Ganlu Temple, wishing to go back now and take care of it. Chapter 27 Rinnegan. Isn't this the ability of ghosts? Next, it's our third item, and the last item in this auction, Dinosaur. As he said that, a cage appeared behind Chen Fang, and a little dinosaur was sleeping in it. This was caught by Chen Fang from a small island. This little dinosaur has a gentle temper and is just right for selling as a pet. It's so cute. Ganluji Mealy looked at the sleeping little dinosaur, and the girl's heart suddenly overflowed. Everyone, don't look at this little guy who is small now, but he will look like this in the future. As Chen Fang spoke, the big screen lit up. Roar. A burst of roars startled everyone. On the screen is the scene of two dinosaurs fighting. After the blood and flesh are mutilated, the one who wins is the same as the little dinosaur in the cage. Although the one in the cage is still small, it is obvious from the characteristics of the body that this is a type of human. This little guy has a gentle temper and is young, so he is easy to surrender. The starting price is 5,000, and each bid must not be lower than 500. There was a commotion in the crowd, and the little dinosaur also woke up at this time. Looking at the lively scene in front of him, he called out with a very gentle expression, "It's so cute. I really want to buy it back as a pet." Lucy merely blinked her big watery eyes and raised her hand like bidding. "We don't have time to keep pets." Yusui Tianyuan said coldly from aside. Kanroji Mitsuri ignored him, but looked at Yoya Mayashiki. Yoya Ubuyashiki still sat there expressionless, but he didn't say a word. Obviously, he didn't intend to take a picture of it. The ghost killing squad is not interested, but other forces are very interested. 27,000. In the end, when the two generals were fighting anxiously, they were successfully photographed by one general with 27,000 resource points. Okay, everyone, this auction is over. You can leave in an orderly manner. Chen Fang happily sent everyone away, and such a large box of Sea King's meat was directly carried out by Purgatory Zingshalang. After everyone left, Chen Fang closed the auction house again. Little Bai, it's time to settle the settlement. The host got a total of 77,000 resource points from each other's auctions. After deducting the payment from the system, the host has 70,000 points left. Because the auction was prepared by the host itself, there is no reward for this auction. Seeing that the resource was credited, Chen Fang immediately opened them all. With 70,000, you can have a good shopping. First, a Rinnegan. Since there is already an eternal Mangeki, Rinnegan only needs 10,000 resource points to redeem it. One more ninjutsu encyclopedia. You can practice first. Chen Fang muttered, spending 30,000 again. It seems that it is really good to be close. Such a big thing is really difficult to transport over a long distance. Purgatory Zingshura put the large box of meat on the ground. Is the auction over? At this moment, a strong man carrying a meteor hammer suddenly appeared. Yes, we have gained a lot this time, Purgatory Zingshura said excitedly. It just happened to come back. This thing, you eat it. Yoya Ubuyashiki threw the devil fruit to Beiminjiu, Xingming casually. This time, we will give Beiminjiu Xingming first, and if there are more auctions in the future, we will make a decision. Yoya Mayashiki said to everyone, being Mingyu Xingming is the strongest among us, so it is natural to give it to him. Sorrowful eyelid Xingming, open it and eat it quickly. Hurry up. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what the effect will be. As soon as Beiminjiu Xingming received the fruit, the others all turned their eyes expectantly. Only you, Xingming mourned with a puzzled look on his face. What is this? Beiminjiu Xingming asked in a deep voice. This is called devil fruit. We just bought it from the auction. After eating it, it will greatly increase its strength. Purgatory Zingshura explained briefly. How can there be such a thing in the world? After eating it, you can greatly increase your strength. I never believe in such a thing that falls from the sky. Beiminjiu Xingming spoke righteously, and he had also heard about the wickedness of the auction before. This time I was going to follow, but because of a temporary mission, I didn't arrive in time. Being Mingyu Xingming, I can't tell the exact moment, but the owner of the auction house killed more than a dozen ghosts with a wave of his hand. Yusui Tianyuan also said, a dozen? Between waving hands? How is it possible? Beiminjiu Xingming Ancient Well's expressionless face also became a little surprised. Let's talk about the details later. You eat this devil fruit first. Ganluji Mitsuri couldn't help urging. Beiminjiu Xingming was still a little hesitant, but at this time, Ubuyashiki Yoya also said, it's okay, eat at ease. Ubuyashiki Yoya had already spoken, and Beiminjiu Xingming didn't have any hesitation, opened the box, and took out the fruit, and took a big bite. The rest of the people stared wide-eyed, watching Beiminjiu Xingming chewing mouthful. Suddenly, Beiminjiu Xingming's face changed, becoming extremely ugly. What's wrong? Yusui Tianyuan couldn't help feeling a little nervous. Everyone else was also tense, thinking that there would be no problem. It's nothing, it's just that the taste is really unpalatable. I've never eaten such an unpalatable thing. Even Bemingyu Xingming, who usually doesn't have much demand for food, couldn't help complaining at this time. However, Bemingyu Xingming still endured the unpalatable taste and ate the whole devil fruit whole. It's over, how do you feel? Purgatory Zingshalang asked quickly, without boom. Before Bemingyu Xingming finished speaking, his heart suddenly beat violently. Then, the blue veins on Bimingyu Xingming's forehead began to bulge, followed by his neck, arms, and then his whole body. In the eyes of this kind of person, his already tall body is getting bigger now. As soon as he rubbed the black hair, it grew out of his body, and his entire face began to deform. After a while, a black bear appeared in front of everyone. Everyone was a little dazed. They looked at the huge bear in front of them, which looked like an animal. Although it was miraculous, he didn't seem to be too strong. But in the next moment, the complete black bear began to shrink again, with a large amount of hair reduced, and its body shape became more human-like, and the sad face of Bemingyu Xingming slowly emerged. This time, everyone's eyes lit up again. At this time, Bemingyu Xingming looked stronger than usual, and the aura he could release felt much stronger than usual. What the hell is this? I feel like I can turn into a black bear, and my strength, speed, and other abilities seem to have increased tremendously. Bemingyu Xingming's face was full of surprise at this time. He never thought that after eating this unpalatable food, his body would have such a huge improvement, especially being able to transform. This is something he has never seen before. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he wouldn't even be able to understand it. Isn't this the ability possessed by ghosts? Chapter 28. Ghost Killing Squad's Counterattack. 12 Ghosts Moonlight, it's so handsome. When is the next auction? Purgatory Zingshura was already looking forward to it. Who can tell me what's going on? Bemingyu Xingming asked again. A few people started talking in a hurry, and soon Bemingyu Xingming also knew these things that happened in the auction and the magic of those auction items. There are such miraculous things in the world. If there are a few more, the strength of the ghost killing team will definitely increase. Bemingyu Xingming also sighed. As long as they can remember, they all know that if they want to gain abilities, they have to rely on inhuman perseverance, study hard, and practice hard. Now, eating a few mouthfuls of unpalatable food can gain such a powerful strength. It is simply heaven-defying. The boss said that each person can only eat one devil fruit, and after eating it, he will turn into a landlubber. Be careful not to be submerged in water, especially sea water. Just such a small side effect. I will pay attention. Bemingyu Xingming couldn't recover for a while. Let's not talk about that. Hurry up and try how strong this black bear form is. Purgatory Zingshalang suggested. If you don't tell me, I want to try too. Bemingyu Xingming turned into a black bear form, raised his hand, and slammed into the boulder beside him. This boulder, which can only be broken by weapons, was smashed into pieces with one punch. Then he bent his legs and flicked, only relying on the strength of his body. He appeared 10 meters away. Then, Bemingyu Xingming transformed again and became a whole black bear. Although it looks like it just turned into a bear, but when it explodes, it is more fierce than the orc form. It's just relatively less flexible. It's too strong. I feel that the current state is unprecedentedly strong. Moreover, I can continue to improve. I don't feel the upper limit at all. Before, because of his many years of training, he felt that his progress had been very slow. But now, Bemingyu Xingming clearly felt that the bottleneck had disappeared, and not only his strength had become stronger, but his upper limit had also become higher. You, too, practice with me. Chen Fang looked at Yu Sui Tian Yuan and Purgatory Xing Shoulang. If you don't tell me, I want to try it. Purgatory Xing Shura grinned, drew his sword, and rushed over. Yu Sui Tian Yuan didn't hesitate, and rushed over at the same time. Only by attacking together can we test Bemingyu Xingming's current strength. The three fought in a melee, and Bemingyu Xingming was able to deal with the two of them without losing the wind at all, and even faintly suppressed the two of them. No more fights, no weapons, neither of us can fight. What else is there to fight? Purgatory Xing Shoulang withdrew to the side. This is just practice. they can't do their best. But even for practice, he also slashed Beiminju Xingming several times, but it felt like slashing on steel, and it didn't have any effect at all. Yu Sui Tianyuan also stopped, and also had no desire to continue to attack. I didn't expect the defense to be so strong. From now on, fighting ghosts will be even more presumptuous. Yu Sui Tianyuan also sighed. The body of the evil spirit can regenerate infinitely. As long as it is not fatally injured, it can be restored instantly. And the members of their ghost-killing team, although powerful, cannot compare with ghosts at all in this respect. But now, Beiminju Xingming's defense ability is so strong that ordinary ghosts can't break through his defense. So he is even more unscrupulous in fighting. Sorrowful Eyelet Xingming, you should take the initiative to go out and test the black bear form recently. Ubiyashikiyoya didn't say much and walked back to the room after speaking. He was quite satisfied with the result of this fruit. On that day, all members of the ghost-killing squad were mobilized to search for all kinds of ghosts with great fanfare. After a few days, a large number of ghosts died at the hands of Beiminju Xingming. In the past few days, Beiminju Xingming has also become more and more familiar with the power of the black bear, and combined with his own ability, he is even more handy in killing ghosts. The ghost-killing squad is going crazy. It's a problem. A large number of ghosts died, but Wu Mi was quite upset. Tong Mo, you two go deal with the members of the ghost-killing squad. Wu Mi directly ordered 12 Ghost Moon to dispatch 2 ghosts. No miserable orders. No ghost dare not obey. Although Yuozuo is very tired of Toma. Yuozuo, the ghost-killing squad is nothing but a bunch of trash. You can deal with it yourself. After receiving the news, Tong Mo immediately pushed the matter to Yuozuo. He has never paid attention to these people who joined the ghost-killing team, and Yuozuo and one ghost are completely enough to deal with. Tong Mo quit, and Iwazuo was even more happy to see the success. He doesn't want to work with this disgusting guy. It will only turn his appetite off. Now that he can do it by himself, he is even more relaxed. News of the 12 ghosts Yue Iwazuo have been found. The rock pillar mourns Yu Xingming, the sound pillar Yusue Tianyuan, the yin pillar Purgatory Xingxilang, and the snake pillar Ihe Xiaobanii. Go and kill them immediately. After Iwazuo received the task, he took the initiative to expose his whereabouts. The ghost-killing team also received the news immediately and immediately sent it to Beiminju, Xingming, and the others. Because it was 12 ghost moons, Yuya Ubiyashiki also dispatched 4 pillar-level strengths very cautiously, including Beiminju Xingming. Yuozuo has killed many members of the ghost-killing team for such a long time, so it has to be taken seriously. The 4 hurried on their way immediately. Finally, a big guy came. Yu Sui Tianyuan said excitedly, "This guy is very strong. We all have to be careful." Purgatory, Xing Shoulang said. "With Beiminju Xingming here, we shouldn't have any accidents this time, right? I hope we have a chance to make a move." Yu Sui Tianyuan joked. The ones who were killed before were all little devils. They can't be compared with Yuozuo. What's the real ending? We'll have to fight to find out. But this time, we should be able to test the training results. Beiminju Xingming began to look forward to it. For this period of time, he could feel his progress every day, and this state made him more energetic. Soon, the 4 of them came to a mountaintop. There was a room on the top of the mountain, and a strong smell of blood wafted out. It's the breath of a ghost. The 4 of them hurried forward to check, but apart from the blood all over the ground and some broken corpses, there was nothing else. The faces of the 4 of them became ugly, although they had seen many such scenes. But they have always been very angry about the murderous behavior of evil spirits. "It must be Yuozuo," Yu Sui Tianyuan said coldly. "No way. I'm really hungry after waiting for you for so long." Just when the 4 were angry, a man with short pink hair and golden pupils came out. The man's skin was pale, his whole body was engraved with a dark blue hue, and his blood-red nails were still bleeding. Chapter 29, The Strength of the Ghost-Killing Team. Devil Fruit Show Power. Please customize Yuozuo. Purgatory Xing Shoulong scolded angrily. 4 pillars, very good. I hope you are strong enough. There was excitement in Uozuo's eyes, and he was full of fighting spirit, like a warrior rather than a ghost. To deal with you, I alone is enough. Beiminju Xingming stood up, breathing heavily, as steady as Mount Tai. The actual rise has been soaring recently, and he is in need of a suitable opponent. He has never met him before, but now he finally meets him. You look very strong, so let's start killing you first. Iwazuo looked at Beiminju Xingming with bloody eyes. Purgatory Xingdaru, Yusue Tenjin, and Ihei Xiaobanii looked at each other, nodded in tacit understanding, and stood aside without intending to make a move. They are also very curious about how strong Beiminju Xingming is now. One-type serpentine bipolar. The morning Yu Xingming, who had been standing quietly for a second, suddenly stretched out all his muscles and threw out the meteor hammer and broad axe connected by iron chains on his back. The heavy sunwell knife just went towards Uozuo in front of it. The technique unfolds. Uozuo didn't move, just stood in place, but suddenly a snowflake-like pattern appeared on the sole of his feet. Uozuo stood on horseback and swung his right palm forward. Destruction, kill Luojian. Whoosh! Suddenly, Uozuo's figure was like an arrow from the string and rushed directly towards Beiminju Xingming. As for the attack of Beiminju Xingming, which seemed to open up the world, he directly dodged it. I have killed so many pillars, and I have never seen you like this. Report your name. Uozuo has already lived close to Beiminju Xingming and is constantly attacking Beiminju Xingming with his fists. Rock Pillar, Morning Islet Xingming. The two kept clashing, and the air waves caused by the aftermath of the battle formed a whirlwind. Destroy, kill, empty style. Uozuo jumped high, his fists glowed with purple light, and the fists were so fast that it was hard to see with the naked eye. The breath of the rock, the shape of the ginseng, and the skin of the rock body. Beiminju Xingming began to wave the meteor hammer, and the meteor hammer surrounded his body, forming an absolute defensive posture. During Uozuo's continuous attacks, even his arms were cut off. However, the new arm grew out immediately, and this level of damage did not affect his fighting at all. On the contrary, it made Uozuo even more excited. That's what makes it interesting. Uozuo continued to rush forward. The speed of his fists was really hard to react, and they kept bombarding Uozuo. Beiminju Xingming kept resisting with the expansion axe and cut Uozuo several times, but all of them were invalid. And Uozuo's fist hit him once, causing substantial damage. Be serious. Uozuo allowed his fist to be cut open by the axe, and the next moment, he found an opportunity to punch Beiminju Xingming with his fist. Beiminju Xingming was caught off guard and was punched again, causing a wound on his body. If it's only to this extent, then I really think highly of you. The Ghost Killing Team will lose another pillar soon. Destroy and kill random style. Uozuo took advantage of the victory and pursued, raining fists, and went straight to Beiminju Xingming. The breath of rock, the shape of four, relied, and quick march. Beiminju Xingming turned the chain, constantly resisting Uozuo's crazy offensive, however. Uozuo has a body that is constantly regenerating and doesn't care about consumption at all, attacking him frantically. Not enough, not enough. Ha ha. While waving his fist, Uozuo laughed wildly. In this case, I will give you more. Roar. As soon as Beiminju Xingming finished speaking, he bent his legs and flicked back, throwing the meteor hammer onto the ground beside him. A beast roar came out, and Beiminju Xingming's whole body suddenly grew taller, with black hair growing all over his body. Seeing the morning Yu Xingming in such a state, Uozuo did not continue to attack, but had a playful look on his face. What is this? It looks very strong. Don't let me down. Uozuo's bloody eyes are once again full of fighting spirit. Just now he thought that Beiminju Xingming had so many tricks, but now it seems that he can continue to play. Beiminju Xingming, who is transformed into a half-orc, has a pair of invisible eyes, but reveals a firm gaze. The tear stains are also faintly shining under the moonlight. Whoosh! The next moment, Beiminju Xingming's figure disappeared in place. Yuozhuo was stunned, and then his abdomen was hit. Beiminjiu Xingming's fist directly penetrated his abdomen, knocking him flying at once. Yuozhuo flew in midair and immediately recovered from his injuries. A trace of surprise flashed in his eyes, which was immediately replaced by excitement. It's so fast. It's so fast. It can suddenly become so much stronger. While Yuozhuo was excited, he also became more vigilant. Under his destructive, killing Luoxin, Beiminjiu Xingming was able to attack him at such a fast speed, which was enough to attract his attention. Yuozhuo landed firmly, and then the whole person rushed towards Beiminjiu Xingming. Destroy kill foot-type crown first cut. Yuozhuo aimed at Beiminjiu Xingming's head and kicked it very quickly with rays of light on his feet. However, Beiminjiu Xingming's reaction was also extremely fast, and he immediately waved his hand to resist. Yuozhuo continued to attack, but with both hands and feet, his whole body became an offensive weapon, constantly bombarding Beiminjiu Xingming. Beiminjiu Xingming tried his best to resist, but Yuozhuo still exchanged injuries for injuries. At this time, Yuozhuo suddenly discovered that the defense of Beiminjiu Xingming had increased significantly compared to before. It is impossible to break through the defense easily, but sometimes after breaking the defense, the wound can recover quickly. Although they are not as powerful as Li Gui, they can recover instantly, but that speed is not what humans should have at all. Your body is very interesting. If it weren't for the difference in breath, I would have thought you were a ghost. Yuozhuo joked. Even though my recovery ability is not as good as yours, I'm not an ordinary human anymore. With similar physical conditions, ghosts can't possibly be our opponents. You have already lost this battle. Beiminjiu Xingming spoke coldly, calmly responding to all attacks. Okay, then you come and kill me. Yuozhuo didn't panic at all. The stronger the opponent, the more excited he was. Then, as you wish, after being punched, Beiminjiu Xingming took the opportunity to distance himself from Yuozhuo, stretched out his hands, and the meteor hammer that was inserted on the ground at the side returned to his hands. Breath of rock, shape of land, black bear, sunrise, and moonset. Sorrowing Yu Xingming in the black bear state was much stronger than usual, and this extremely heavy meteor hammer became lighter in his hands. This is also a new move he created by combining the black bear form and the sunwheel knife. I saw the heavy meteor hammer, and it seemed to have become unreal at this time. Under the high-speed rotation, I couldn't see where the entity was. For a moment, Yuozhuo only felt that the rotating meteor hammers were all around his body. It's over. Beiminjiu Xingming clasped his hands together, and Yuozhuo wanted to resist, but the meteor hammers all around directly smashed his body into pieces, and his head was also successfully chopped off. Chapter 30 Invitation from the Fishman Island. See Princess Shirahoshi, Kneeling for Flowers monthly ticket evaluation ticket. Win. The eyes of the three of them lit up, and they smiled. One person defeated 12 ghost moons unscathed, and Ghost Wu Suji suffered a big loss this time. Purgatory Xingqiang said excitedly. As he said, Gui Wu Suji received feedback immediately after Yuozhuo's death. At this moment, his face became flustered instantly. This is not the usual death of those shrimp soldiers and crab generals, but Yuozhuo is one of his subordinates, Admiral. He was an important member of his plan, and now he just died like this. Impossible. Since when did the right person become so strong? Could it be that rock pillar? He also received some news recently that Beiminjiu Xingming ate something called devil fruit, and his strength increased greatly. However, he never thought that Beiminjiu Xingming's strength had soared to the level that he could kill Yuozhuo. Only Wu Suji was lost in thought. Pirate World, you are finally back. Recently, many people have come to look for you. As soon as Chen Fang appeared, Rayleigh found him. Who came to find me or came to kill me? Chen Fang hasn't released any news about the start of the auction recently. Could it be that the world government is using it to seek revenge? Don't worry, after what happened last time, the world government won't be so stupid anymore. If they want to kill you, they have to make a careful plan later. It's the merfolk who come to you, or rather the whole of the Fishman Island, because it was Neptune who sent you the invitation. Rayleigh briefly explained Neptune's invitation. Oh, the king invited me, so I'll take a look around. I just haven't been to the bottom of the sea yet. Then do you want me to coat you? By the way, do you have a boat? Rayleigh is an excellent coating craftsman on the island. If you want to go to Fisherman Island, you must coat the boat before you can dive. Thanks, Uncle Rayleigh, but I don't think I need it. All right then, I'll go drink first. Chen Fang didn't need it, and Rayleigh didn't bother to ask. Anyway, Chen Fang's abilities are emerging in endlessly. It is not uncommon for Chen Fang to go down to 10,000 meters under the sea without using a boat or coating. Chen Fang left the auction house and found a place to jump into the sea. But the moment he entered the sea water seemed to come alive and scattered towards the surroundings one after another. Chen Fang sank all the way to the bottom. His body would be stained with a drop of sea water. With a little use of universal pull, it's easy to do. Chen Fang dived extremely fast, and after dealing with a few blind sea kings along the way, he soon came to the entrance of the Fishman Island. After showing the invitation letter from Neptune, Chen Fang immediately received the highest level of treatment. Mr. Chen Fang, wait a moment. I will call someone to pick you up right away. No need. I'll go by myself. After rejecting the soldiers, Chen Fang walked into the Fishman Island by himself. For this wonderful place, he has long wanted to see it. Who would have thought that the place 10,000 meters under the sea is so bright and beautiful? Even though I have an impression of the Fishman Island, after visiting it in person, the feeling is still different. After wandering around on the Fishman Island, Chen Fang flew towards the air. Just as Chen Fang was flying high into the sky, an axe headed towards his forehead impartially. But the next moment, the axe was crushed by Chen Fang with one hand. The axe was not aimed at Chen Fang, but Chen Fang blocked his path. Seeing the rose print on the fragment of the axe, Chen Fang instantly understood what was going on. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and he stretched out his hand. The fragment of the axe floated beside him. Then, Chen Fang changed his trajectory and flew in another direction. Dear Princess Shirahoshi, please accept my love. Somewhere in the dark Murloc Street, there is no man's land. Vanderdaken 9 had a wretched smile on his face, rubbing his hands, and was holding an axe to throw it out. However, as soon as the axe was thrown, it shattered into pieces. A figure stood in front of him. Who? How dare you destroy my courtship axe? Seeing that someone dared to break his axe, Van Deeken was instantly furious. In Murloc Street, no one dared to provoke him easily. I'm sorry. I don't know if you were lucky or unlucky. Why did you almost cut me down? Although it didn't hurt me, you managed to make me notice you. Who the hell are you? Don't hinder me here. Get the hell out of here if you don't want to die. Van Deeken said impatiently. Okay. Chen Fang smiled slightly. Just when Van Deeken thought he could continue, he suddenly felt a gravitational pull on his body. Before he knew what happened, he realized that his body was out of his control, and he flew towards Chen Fang. The next moment, he only saw a big hand patted towards him, and then he died. Van Deeken has been on the bottom of the sea for so long, and has done all kinds of bad things. He never thought that he would end up like this. He didn't even know who this man was, and he didn't even have a chance to beg for mercy, so he lost his life just like that. Disposing of Vanderdaken was just a casual thing. After finding a bag and packing his body, Chen Fang headed towards the Dragon Palace again. This time, there was no question. Knowing that Chen Fang was coming, Neptune immediately opened the door. Mr. Chen Fang, you are very welcome. As soon as he entered the door, Chen Fang saw the scene of singing and dancing. All the delicious food has been prepared and placed on the table. Neptune only sent out the invitation tentatively, but he did not expect that Chen Fang would come in person, and Neptune was quite pleasantly surprised. When he received the news from the soldiers, he immediately arranged for it. As soon as Chen Fang arrived, the grand banquet began. Chen Fang was sitting, facing Neptune's sons. Then the prince sat in the same seat, which is the highest level of courtesy. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Neptune, the king of the Fishman Island. These are my 3 sons. Neptune politely introduced that he had heard of Chen Fang's heroic deeds. Facing such a ruthless man, Neptune did not have the airs of a king at all. As far as I know, you should still have a daughter. Why don't you ask him to come out? This time, Chen Fang also wanted to see one of the top beauties in the pirate world, also the mermaid princess from ancient weapon Poseidon. Otherwise, there is no need to make a special trip there. Having said that, Neptune had a troubled look on his face. Sir, I don't know. It's inconvenient for my daughter to come out now. I know, because of this guy. Chen Fang casually threw out the sack he was carrying, and Van Deken's body rolled out of it. Chapter 31. The Ceiling of Beauty. Preparations for the third auction house. Asking for flower monthly ticket evaluation ticket. Seeing this scene, the expressions of Neptune and the three princes changed, and then they beamed with joy. Father, it's Van Deken 9. The eldest prince Sha Xing took a closer look. That's it. Shirahoshi's crisis is over. Everyone present breathed a sigh of relief, because after being touched by Van Deken once, Shirahoshi lost his freedom and could only stay in the safe house. This made Neptune and the others very distressed, but there was nothing they could do. They have always wanted to deal with this root of evil, but Van Deken was powerful and slippery, so they couldn't find it all. But now, the source of evil has been brought here and killed, and all dangers have been lifted. Quick, please come out, Princess Shirahoshi. Neptune immediately said to the ministers beside him, Master Chen Fang, thank you very much. You have shown great kindness to my dragon palace. As long as there is anything that needs my help, just ask. Neptune was ashamed. He asked Chen Fang to come over for help. He didn't expect that he didn't prepare anything here, but Chen Fang had prepared such a big gift. Okay, I will remember this, and I will definitely not shirk it if there is something to do. This kind of favor has to be accepted. I don't know why the king is looking for me this time. Chen Fang said straight to the point. It's like this. In fact, we also have a strong interest in your auction, but due to the relationship between the Fishmen Island and human beings, it is not convenient for us to go to the island. Please come here this time. I just want you to protect us, allowing us to safely enter and exit the Sabaody archipelago. Neptune said respectfully. He has heard of all the things sold at the auction. Nothing is mortal. If he can have a chance to take a picture of what he wants, it will be a huge improvement for them long launching. Due to their relationship with humans, they didn't participate in the previous 2 times. They really didn't want to miss the next time, so they had this invitation. King Neptune, if you want to be my client, I welcome it very much, but letting me make a move is not the treatment that ordinary clients have. Of course, since we are neighbors, I can promise you. But I also need a promise from you. You must agree to my request. It is naturally impossible to ask Chen Fang to take shelter in a few words. Originally, Neptune had prepared a large amount of treasure and a beautiful mermaid, but now it seems that it can be done by agreeing to one request, which seems to be very smooth. I don't know what the request is. I haven't thought about the specific requirements. I'll talk about it later. Will you agree? Chen Fang waved his hand. He really didn't think about it. He just wanted him to protect him for free. That's too much thinking. Neptune was silent. Such an unknown request was still somewhat risky. But after hesitating for a while, Neptune gritted his teeth. Yes. Cheer up. When the time comes, mermaids and murlocs don't hesitate to go to the island. I will be responsible for your safety. With Chen Fang's promise, Neptune immediately felt relieved. My lord father. At this moment, a mermaid with a huge figure swam in. Although she is huge, she can't stop her cuteness. Shirahoshi came out timidly, calling Neptune softly. Chen Fang also looked over. His eyes lit up instantly. Her flowing pink hair complements her cuteness, and her big green watery eyes reveal a timid light, which makes people want to love her. As for that figure, it was so hot that it was hard to look away. There is no doubt that the value of the ceiling. Shirahoshi hadn't come out for a long time and was excited and scared at the same time. Shirahoshi, it was Master Chen Fang who saved you, and you can go outside freely in the future. Neptune immediately introduced to Shirahoshi. Hello, Master Chen Fang. Shirahoshi said with his head down, his face flushed a little. Hello, Shirahoshi. You can go out for activities with peace of mind in the future. Don't be afraid. Chen Fang said warmly. Yeah. Shirahoshi nodded coquettishly, and then looked at Chen Fang with all his courage. After seeing Chen Fang's kind smile, Shirahoshi only felt more cordial. Master Chen Fang must be very strong, Shirahoshi said again. Shirahoshi, be polite. Mr. Chen Fang is the top power in this sea. Neptune quickly reminded, lest Shirahoshi offend Chen Fang. It's okay. I have to go back to prepare for the next round of auctions, so I won't stay any longer. You can go to the island at any time. Without waiting for these people to stay, Chen Fang walked outside directly. Seeing that Chen Fang had made up his mind to go, Neptune personally sent Chen Fang out and did not return until he left the Fishman Island. As expected of the existence that dares to kill celestial dragons, it can travel 10,000 meters to and from the bottom of the sea alone. He's just an ordinary human. How did he do that? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never believe it. Seeing that Chen Fang left without taking any measures, Neptune and the others were in shock for a long time. Didn't you already go to the Fishman Island? Haven't you left yet? Seeing Chen Fang come back, Rayleigh said strangely. It's over. Neptune wants me to protect them. It's inconvenient for mermaids to go to the island. We've already negotiated. I'll trouble you to take care of them when the time comes. Chen Fang said casually. Now Rayleigh couldn't help being a little dazed. No matter how much he had seen the world, returning to the Fishman Island one day, he had never heard of such a thing. Oh well. After a while, Rayleigh returned to normal. This kind of thing is done by Chen Fang, and it is not unacceptable. But when's the next auction? Rayleigh asked. Well, 1 month later. Then you need to release the news earlier, or they will lose a lot if they don't raise money. You're right. Chen Fang nodded and immediately started making invitations. This time, he had a new idea. Chen Fang first spread the news about the Fishman Island. Any murlocs or mermaids on the Sabati archipelago would be protected by the auction house. Anyone who dared to attack them would be against the auction house. As soon as the news came out, all the traffickers on the island dared not speak out. As soon as this order came out, their business lost a module. In this regard, they can only choose to remain silent. Then, the newly made invitation letters were also sent to various places. Soon, the news that the third auction would be held spread across the sea. At the same time, Chen Fang also emphasized that Bailey will not be charged this time, and items can only be exchanged for resources. Chapter 32, 4 Emperor's Confrontation. The boiling sea. As soon as this news came out, the sea shook. The people who were looking forward to the start of the third auction all of a sudden became anxious. Many people are full of confidence because they have countless Baileys in their hands. But now, Bailey has become a piece of waste paper, so they have no advantage at all. Even the 4 emperors became anxious. The black market, which was originally rich in materials, was plundered of materials in just a few days. The price of devil fruit has reached a new high, just to exchange for resource points. All kinds of materials in the black market have been taken away by various forces, and this was not enough at all. For a while, a dispute over resources began again. New world on a silver island. The Whitebeard pirates and the Big Mom pirates are fighting fiercely. Only by winning people can we gain control of the island. Sorry, all your supplies belong to us. In a certain sea area of New World, a pirate who had just robbed an island was suddenly stopped by several people. Although there were only a few of them, the captain immediately surrendered honestly after seeing the leader with red hair. Red hair pirates, this time also actively involved. Although the Shanks and the others are relatively Buddhist, they are also somewhat interested in the things from the Tiantian Auction House. Last time, it was because of insufficient preparation that I didn't have a chance to meet what I wanted. This time, they don't want to miss it either. With all this happening, the headache is marine. But this time, what caused them even more headaches was also supplies. Yes, sir. In Marshal Marine's office, Sengoku respectfully hung up the phone. The only people he could call the chief were the 5 old bastards from the Holy Land, Mariewa. What instructions do they have? Garp held his nose aside and asked nonchalantly. 5 elders said that all the resources for this auction will be provided by them. But we must bring CP people. The people who brought CP, could it be that they're going to assassinate? It shouldn't be. Isn't that stupid? Garp's tone was slightly mocking. It shouldn't be an assassination, but I just want to check the situation. Whatever. They pay anyway. I'll go ahead this time. Garp was very interested in the auction and left the office without waiting for Sengoku's reply. If he has been holding auctions honestly, we can suspend the processing of him. Before that, we still have to figure out his strength. Now we still don't know anything about him. This kind of existence out of control is quite detrimental to us. In Five Elders' office, after the 5 people had informed Sengoku, they were also having a heated discussion. The emergence of the Tiantian Auction House has completely changed the balance of the sea. Especially Chen Fang, who killed the celestial dragons as soon as he appeared and then destroyed a large number of their troops, has made them have to pay attention. The key now is the Tiantian Auction House. The sea forces that were originally stabilized have started to fight again because of the auction. If this continues, the balance that was so hard to maintain will be broken again. But there are some things in the auction that we really need. The focus is still on Chen Fang. We need to find a breakthrough from him. Let's see if CP can gain something this time. In the best case, let the auction house be under our control. This is definitely what Lord M wants to see. Master M hasn't said anything about it yet, but he must know about it. Before he asks, we must deal with it. Speaking of him, the 5 people showed respectful expressions on their faces. Host, someone from the branch is here. After distributing the news, Chen Fang started to prepare for the auction. At this moment, he suddenly received a message from Xiaobai. Is anyone looking for Ghost Slayer World? Go and have a look. Chen Fang passed through the portal and came to the world of Ghost Slayer. Chen Fang also noticed the scene outside the auction house for the first time. There's no one looking for it, but a ghost. There are 6 eyes on the face, one of the 12 ghost moons, black dead eyes. What are you looking for me for? Chen Fang appeared outside the auction house. Let go of the protective cover and let Black Death Eye walk in. Black dead eyes watched Chen Fang, who suddenly appeared vigilantly, and walked into the auction house. At that moment, he didn't notice it at all. Are you the owner of this auction house? Yes, it's me. You don't look like you're here to make trouble, but my auction hasn't started yet. Go back and wait for the notification. I know. I came here to ask you, can ghosts participate in the auction? Heisima asked. Of course, as long as you have enough supplies to exchange for resource points. Of course, you have to promise not to cause trouble. Otherwise, I will destroy you at any time. Things like ghosts are still unstable. They are not like people. Even bad people will behave when they should. But when these ghosts are hungry, they cannot resist the desire to eat people. Is it because of the items in your auction that the ghost-killing team's Yenju suddenly increased in strength? Heisima did not answer directly, but continued to ask. That's right. I can also tell you that most of the things I have here can be used by humans and ghosts. Ask me, do you want to come? Or is that coward Gowu Sujiwu-chan coming? Seeing so many questions from Heisima, Chen Fang also asked curiously. That adult is very angry recently because of the news of Yowozuo's death and is looking for a replacement. And he hides very deeply and will not come over. Damn, I'm afraid of death. In fact, as long as I obey the rules, I won't do anything to him. You can also tell him that I still welcome him here. Seeing that Chen Fang was so dismissive of Guiwu Suji Wu-san, Heishin's eyes were secretly startled. He knew about the last time Chen Fang wiped out those dozen ghosts with a wave of his hand, and now he is even more convinced. Although I don't know why Chen Fang is so confident, but as a strong Black Death Eye, he has a feeling that Chen Fang may really be able to kill them. I really didn't come here for him. I just came here to ask, is there any treasure here that can make me escape from that lord? Finally, Heisima revealed his true intentions. Because of the curse, he couldn't even speak the name of Kamai Suji. But he really doesn't want to continue to be subordinate to others. Even if he's a ghost, he still wants to be free. Not to mention letting you out of control. There are treasures that can make you human, so go collect materials as much as you want. Without any hesitation, Chen Fang patted Heisima's shoulder. Heisima frowned. No one dared to jump at him so lightly. He wanted to walk away, but found that he couldn't move. Chapter 33, My Words. Chen Fang, our kingly law, and anyone who dares to commit a crime will die now that Black Death, I assure, Chen Fang can definitely kill himself. Do you have any other questions? Last question. When is the next auction? At that time, you will naturally receive the news. Now, hurry up and find supplies. Chen Fang withdrew his hand, and Simmer realized that his feet could move. Without any hesitation, Black Death, I directly left the auction house and began searching for supplies. After solving the customer's problem, Chen Fang returned to One Piece World again and continued to select the auction items this time. This time his system has been upgraded. Because the contribution of resource points is enough, he can now purchase goods from the system mall for auction. The resource points obtained will also belong to him. The last time Chen Fang had tens of thousands of resource points left. This time he could just use them to buy goods at internal prices. After browsing through the dazzling array of products for a long time, under Chen Fang's precise planning, she finally exchanged 5 auction items, which just happened to exhaust her remaining resource points. A month goes by quickly, and they'll start the first few days. The entire island became lively again, and this time the island was rebuilt very well. Casinos, hotels, amusement parks, all kinds of vendors on the street, everything. Master Jaws, come to my place to have a look. It just arrived. Master Ace, the takoyaki here is very delicious. As soon as Whitebeard and others came to the island, the vendors on the island warmly greeted them. One after another, some big names came to the island, and some fanatical fans even went up to ask for autographs. Compared to the previous shock and disbelief, the current residents are no strangers to these big men. Many even have some acquaintances with some big names. They are very enthusiastic about Whitebeard and other good-tempered ones, but keep a respectful distance from Big Mom and Kaido, who are moody. That's a mermaid. I didn't expect that a mermaid really came this time. No wonder President Chen Fang said that before. That's right, but I still doubt that some traffickers will take action. Xing took a group of mermaids to the island. Compared with those big figures, they have become the focus of all residents. Followed by, there are a large number of mermaids. Knowing that Chen Fang was protecting them, they became more courageous. Many of them simply wanted to go to the Sabati archipelago to have fun and watch the excitement of the auction. There are so many murlocs and precious mermaids. This is our chance to make a fortune. Looking at the mermaids and murlocs one by one, some powerful slave owners have already begun to follow them. Prince Sharkstar and the others have to provoke them, but the others are all their targets. Just grab a few of them and sell them at auction, and their income will be greatly increased. Brother, didn't Chen Fang let go? Anyone who dares to arrest him will be against him. You stupid, what Chen Fang said is not to do it in Sabati archipelago. We will auction it off and say we got it from other places. What can he do? As long as we do it fast enough, he can't handle it alone. A group of people followed the mermaids to the hotel. Except for Sharkstar, many other mermaids and murlocs traveled together and lived in the hotel on the island where the auction house was located. Keep an eye on me. As long as you find an opportunity, grab it immediately. They're the strongest family of slave owners on the Sabati archipelago. They secretly capture a few people without fear of being discovered. Let's go out for a walk. 2 mermaids, a man and a woman, travel together, and this is their first time in the sea world. With the news of Chen Fang, although they are very unpopular, no one provokes them. The 2 walked around and found that suddenly there were no buildings around, and they walked to a remote place all at once. The 2 of them hadn't been here before, so they could only look around for a while, but they didn't expect to go further and further away. The opportunity is here. The traffickers who followed them became interested in an instant. Catch 2 mermaids in such a remote place, and if someone finds out, it will be a ghost. You too. Can't you find your way back? Let me help you. Just when the 2 were confused, a big man with a scar on his face came out with a smile. The big man held a gun in his hand and a knife pinned to his waist. His malicious smile made the 2 mermaids startled immediately. No matter how naive they are, they will not think that the person in front of them is really here to help them. You, what do you want to do? The mermaid protected the mermaid behind her, and right behind them, 2 more people walked out with a smile on their faces. What do you want to do? Of course I want to catch you. You, didn't you say that you are not allowed to attack us? The merman said tremblingly. Ha ha. Hearing this, the traffickers all laughed mockingly. Do you still think that Chen Fang is the god of the 9 heavens? He can control every place? We arrested you today, and he won't even know the fart. Several people said, and slowly approached the two mermaids. The two mermaids collapsed to the ground in fright. Excuse me, you have broken the rules." At this moment, Rayleigh, with a smile on his face, came out from the side with a flagon. "Rayleigh, what are you doing here, old man? Get out of our way." Someone recognized Rayleigh. After all, he was also on the Sabati archipelago. Rayleigh still has a certain familiarity. "Hey, pick up. It's not that I want to make a move. It's because you changed the rules, and I can't help it." "It doesn't matter. Let's catch this old guy first. He looks quite strong, and he could still be a coolie." The leader, Scarface, turned his hand and shot Rayleigh. However, as soon as the gunshot came out, he flew upside down. Rayleigh's shoes had been stamped on his face. "Let's go together. Get rid of this old guy first." "Ah!" Scarface climbed up from the ground, led a group of younger brothers, and rushed towards Rayleigh again with a roar. Seeing these people rushing over, Rayleigh sighed slightly, shook his head, and then moved. Several people couldn't see where Rayleigh was at all. They only saw Rayleigh rushing towards them, and the next moment, he appeared behind them. Several of them were directly cut off the main artery and fell to the ground, and some of them were only seriously injured and did not die directly. Who are you?" The man who knew Rayleigh looked at Rayleigh with panic and fear in his eyes. "I'm Rayleigh." Rayleigh smiled. Rayleigh, Ming, Pluton Rayleigh." The man looked at Rayleigh's figure and slowly began to change, which coincided with the reward order he saw a long time ago. Immediately afterwards, breathing became extremely rapid, and then slowly and completely stopped. Chapter 34 Auction Lava Style. Comparable to Akainu's Lava Fruit, Neil begging for flour monthly ticket evaluation ticket. After several shots by Rayleigh, the traffickers on the entire island began to panic. "I heard that in the past 2 days, anyone who attacked the Murlocs will die without a place to bury them." "Yeah, and I heard the shot could be Pluton Rayleigh." "What is the vice captain of One Piece Gordy?" "Roger, the legendary Pluton Rayleigh." "Who says no? He must be an auction house now." Those who were eager to try immediately became honest and peaceful. With Rayleigh's oppression, the entire island is considered absolutely safe for the Murlocs. 3 days later, the doors of the Tian Auction House opened and the auction officially began. It's finally started. I don't know what's new this time. We're just here to watch the fun. And those who really want to grab things are those big shots. The crowd walked into their venue happily, and everyone was looking forward to what kind of auction items would appear this time. I don't know if there is a sacred fruit this time. Although the last lot was wonderful, it didn't directly increase its strength. This time, the president made a statement. There are 5 lots. The sacred fruit is a unique thing here. It didn't appear this time last time. Why should there be one? I hope that there will be another item like Shindo. This is something that can give you a second life. Ace and the others discussed and walked into the auction room. This is also because we are fully prepared. As long as you have the strength to improve or restore the holy medicine, you must take it. Yeah, I'm going to compete with my good brother again. Sabo and the others found a place to sit down, looked at the direction of the Whitebeard pirates, and showed a look of relief. However, he did not recognize each other. The Revolutionary Army has always acted in a low-key manner. The biggest opponents are not them. Carol looked at Garp and others who were walking through the door. After attending the auction, Marine handed over the task of the auction to Garp. This time there is no other admiral accompanying, but the momentum is still Hakim Yuzu. If anyone had benefited the most from the Tian Auction House, it must be Marine. As soon as the door was opened, Chen Fang was already standing on the stage, waiting for everyone to arrive with a smile on his face. At the same time, on the side of the stage, facing everyone, Rayleigh was sitting there with a bottle of wine, drinking leisurely. "Rayleigh, looks like the rumors are true." Whitebeard's eyes were burning, and he caught sight of Rayleigh above the stage. This is also the 3rd auction. No matter what the status of the person is, they are all sitting in the VIP seats under the stage. Rayleigh was able to sit there, definitely not as an ordinary customer. So there was only one other possibility: joining the auction house. Unexpectedly, the person Marine has wanted for so many years is hiding in this place. Although Garp has just landed on the island, Marine has the best news and has already known the rumors about Rayleigh. But he came to participate in the auction, Did he receive an order to arrest Rayleigh? Of course. Even if there was such an order, he would not dare to make a move here. Now that he has decided to reveal his identity, Rayleigh no longer hides, picks up a bottle of Matai, and throws it at Whitebeard. Seeing you when you were young, I really miss you a bit. Hidden for so many years, have you decided to come back now? Good wine, as Whitebeard said. He opened the wine bottle and took a big sip, and his eyes lit up as soon as he took a sip. This is the wine that can only be drunk at our auction house. It's cheap for you. I just came to be a housekeeper, not a pirate. There is no way I will come back. Rayleigh said with a smile. The two old friends exchanged a few pleasantries. At this moment, Big Mom and Kaido walked in together. After the two had a secret deal, their state was not as tense as usual. All right, Lin, this time, if there is something I particularly want, I won't give it to you. Then it depends on what it is, but I can give it to you once. The two walked into the auction room while talking, and at the same time, their eyes were immediately attracted by Rayleigh, who was drinking with Whitebeard. They are veterans who don't know Pluton Rayleigh, especially their rocks pirate. This old guy, whatever he does. After taking a look, the two found a place to sit down. After a while, the auction was full of people. Chen Fang looked at the venue, and more dignitaries came to the auction house. Even the Golden Emperor disguised himself as an ordinary person and hid in the crowd. Chen Fang smiled slightly. This guy has been running for his life. Never thought he would miss every auction. But this time Akainu didn't come after him, and his ability to escape became better and better. As if seeing Chen Fang's gaze, Tezulo smiled mischievously and sat in the corner farthest from the marine. If Kamapai Kigong hadn't made some progress and helped him escape many times, he would have already been in the big submarine prison. Welcome everyone to the Tian Auction House. I believe you all know the rules of the resource point this time, so I don't need to introduce more. I know, President, let's start. We can't wait. Let's take a quick look at the first lot, some powerful people hurriedly said. Okay, without further ado, the first lot, the sacred fruit lava style. Chen Fang took out a box, and when they saw the sacred fruit inside, everyone's eyes lit up with excitement. After these several auctions, the sacred fruit is definitely one of the most anticipated items for them. It is also the item they discuss most in private, and they're looking forward to what kind of ability they will have. Lava style is a kind of nature transformation after the combination of fire and earth. To put more simply, it is magma. For details, please watch the big screen. Everyone was familiar with the process, and they all focused on the big screen after Chen Fang's introduction. Wow, this is Akainu. It's definitely the same ability as Marine Admiral Akainu, but this is a sacred fruit, and it doesn't have any side effects. After the video was played, the audience erupted. Isn't this the same ability as Akainu? Vice Admiral Gar, this. No, there's still a difference. Akainu are all Logia, able to control nature. This one is more similar to Paramecia, and it is mostly used on its own. The strength is not enough for Akainu's level. But with practice the day after tomorrow, no one can say for sure how far it can go. Garp is worthy of being a veteran powerhouse, and he saw a lot at once. Whitebeard and others have also seen this, but this does not prevent them from wanting this lava style. Tezulo looked down, and his eyes were shining. If he caught this, the next time he faces Akainu, he will definitely be able to surprise him. Chapter 35, Revolutionary Army Actions. Auction of Dancing Kong Shu. This ability is exactly what we need. Carol looked excited. Sabo's eyes were determined. This time we must win. Besides Marine, there should be no second Akainu. Turned into an ordinary Marine CP, sat beside Garp, and said, "These guys are exactly the opposite of what we thought." Garp looked at Whitebeard and others with a smile. The starting price is 10,000, and each increase is no less than 1,000. With the familiar sound of wooden hammers hitting the table, the price struggle also began. Under the red-faced bids of all the big forces, Lava Style was finally auctioned by Sabo at a high price of 50,000 resource points. Because there are 5 lots this time, Whitebeard and others don't want to spend a lot of money on a sacred fruit. Tetsolo snatched it a few times, but he didn't want to be too dazzling. After all, it would be troublesome to be targeted by Marine again. And this time Bailey is useless. He can't afford so much at once. He can't go out to perform on the spot and turn stone into gold. Helpless can only give up. Even if you pretend, you can't change the identity of the Revolutionary Army. Garp looked in Sabo's direction. His eyes shone with wisdom, as if he had seen through everything. You know they're the Revolutionary Army. Why didn't you just fight with them? CP on the side said angrily. You know what, Afar, this is an auction. There are a lot of good things in the back. Resource points. You have to use them wisely. None of these guys are easy to mess with. Garp spat directly. Although CP was upset, he didn't say anything. Garp's temper is well known. Recently, the activities of the Revolutionary Army have become more and more frequent, and it is estimated that there will be big moves in the near future. CP warned vigilantly. I've been hiding for so many years. Isn't it just to make a big move? Garp didn't care. This matter must be reported. They have obtained lava style, and their strength has been further strengthened. This is your business. You are here, so I don't need to do anything extra. Garp is even more indifferent. Sabo directly offered support points, and after getting the lava style, he swallowed it without hesitation. Because this time only supplies were collected. Before the auction, Chen Fang deliberately arranged time to exchange resource points for the major forces. In this way, the auction process was much more efficient. Although the representative of Marine arrived late, the supplies also arrived early. Everyone looked at him expectantly, wanting to see what the second Akainu would look like. But Sabo didn't have any intention of showing it. After eating it, he only said that it tasted delicious, and then lowered his hat and sat back in his seat. There was no show, and everyone just sighed in disappointment and then continued to look at the stage. Wanted to see it is just to watch the excitement, and no one doubts the authenticity of the auction items. And if there was a problem, why would Sabo sit down happily? The second auction item, the method of cultivation, dancing Kong Shu. Chen Fang's voice fell, and a book spun up on his left hand. There are only 3 big characters on the cover. Dancing Kong Shu. This trick has very simple functions. There's only one, and that is... Chen Fang levitated as he spoke. Everyone looked at Chen Fang in surprise, envy, and doubt. I believe someone has already guessed that this trick is to fly. As long as you learn it, you can fly. This is real flying, not like moonwalk, which consumes a lot of physical strength to achieve it. Of course, it's not like the effect of some devil fruits. It is effortless to fly. Since it is a trick, it will consume a certain amount. The specifics depend on the degree of control and strength of everyone. Chen Fang introduced dancing Kong Shu, and this kind of thing doesn't need a video to prove something. With Chen Fang's explanation, the enthusiasm on the field was ignited again. This time the audience's exclamation was even higher than the last sacred fruit. It turned out to be a flying technique. It's too powerful. Can flying still be practiced? I'm so surprised. It's worthy of the Tiantian Auction House. Father, this is a good thing. Ace looked at the secret book in Chen Fang's hand, with longing in his eyes. For their demon fruit power, mastering this skill is equivalent to countless chances of escape. Others can still swim to escape if they fall into the sea, and they are equivalent to a death sentence if they fall into the sea. And if they had the Wukong technique, they would have an extra way out. Then grab it. Whitebeard grinned, seemingly indifferent, but his eyes were determined. Must grab it. Big Mom and Kaido also ordered immediately. They don't really care about flying. After Kaido becomes a dragon, she can fly wherever she wants. Big Mom's Prometheus and Zeus are her Hot Wheels. For them personally, this may not be particularly necessary, but everyone knows the power of this trick. Once this thing is mastered, it will be the untold secret of their great power. Not only can they learn it by themselves, but they can also exchange it for many good things. This must be taken down. After CP saw this thing, he immediately knew what Garp meant before. Sure enough, there will be good things in the future, and they must control them. If some things spread out, they will cause damage to the balance of the sea. If these powerful pirates can still fly easily, what a terrible situation it will be. Marine couldn't even think about it. It's up to you. Garp spat again. Garp looked at the fearsome pirates present, especially the younger Whitebeard. If Whitebeard gets this, then the Whitebeard pirates will really go to heaven. When the time comes, it it will be even more difficult for Marine to deal with them. As soon as he thought of this, Garp immediately made up his mind. The starting price is 30,000, 100,000. Before Chen Fang finished speaking, Garp directly bid. The others all fell in love with Garp. Their eyes were blazing, and it was about to rain. Seeing Garp's posture, they knew that this new round of battle was extremely difficult. The last round of Marine also asked for a price, but it was not like this at all. This time Garp didn't bother to use tactics, and with the support of 5 elders, he had a foundation. Garp just didn't want to be confident, and he couldn't do it. None of the people present dared to compare with world government's background. How many good things are there in 5 elders? You can't even imagine it. 110,000. 120,000. Garp's aura is okay to deter small forces, but is like nothingness in front of those big forces. Although this dance technique is good, it has limited effect on us, so let's forget it. Sharpstar raised his sign once, and no longer participated in this kind of bidding. They're the overlords of the seabed, and flying in the air is dispensable to them. After all, their strength is the strongest on the seabed. Chapter 36, the next auction item. Zanpakutō. The Dragon Palace has withdrawn, and other major forces are still fighting for it. The price also came to 200,000. These little forces, why join in the fun? So what if they get a shot? Do you think they can keep it? Seeing such a lively scene, Tezelo couldn't help but snort. Of course, no one is more qualified to say this than him. If it wasn't for Kamehameha Kigongbo, how could he, a golden emperor who is popular everywhere, be chased by a Kainu like a bereaved dog? Sharkstar was also dumbfounded. He has also heard about the previous transaction prices. Except for the sacred object of the Cup of Life, the other prices are all good. But now it seems that he pales in comparison. Bailey couldn't be used this time. I didn't expect these big forces to still have strong combat effectiveness. 230,000. Grandpa, the Whitebeard Pirates, are sure to win this dance. Ace bid on behalf of the Whitebeard Pirates, looking in Marine's direction with a big smile on his face. Garp looked at his unfilial grandson with a look of displeasure. You boy, I will settle your account later. If you don't do a good job as a Marine, go be a pirate and be the son of this old guy. 250,000. 260,000. Ace didn't say much. Although they were arguing, the two were very happy to see each other. 300,000. Garp is rich and powerful, and he didn't hesitate to ask the price. After adding such a high price, Ace suddenly hesitated. Bailey was not charged this time, but unlike the last time, he didn't care about asking the price. This time, the resource points exchanged by everyone are not as good as before. 300,000 is already an insurmountable price. Hey brat, you've reached your limit. It's okay. Ace, even if it is taken by Marine, there is no way we can get it. Whitebeard is very free and easy. After he became young, he has always been in a very good mood. 300,000. Without any suspense, the cheats were sent to Garp. As soon as Garp received it, he couldn't wait to open it and study it. Second, Garp looked at the book, his eyes lit up, and his mouth kept admiring. He can become the top combat power in this sea without relying on devil fruit. Except for Haki Wushuang, his physical skills are even more powerful. For this kind of trick, he saw the doorway in it all at once, and was even more amazed at the subtlety of the trick. Everyone else listened intently, but didn't say a word except to praise Garp. If this kind of thing spreads out, it will cause turmoil. Garp looked at it for a while, then stuffed it into his pocket and kept it himself. The last time Suzumabachi's incident is still vivid. This time he does not intend to give the lot to others. Damn it, Marine got it. Then we'll have some trouble trying to get it. Hope someone can get it out of Marine. It will be troublesome in the future, and Marine will be even more difficult to deal with. Except for Marine, who is happy, everyone else is worried. No matter who takes away the Wukong technique, other forces may learn it, except for Marine. Once this kind of thing is obtained by Marine, it will definitely be strictly guarded. You don't have to think about it. People who can learn it are limited, and there must be strict regulations, and they cannot be spread outside. If you want to spread it, you don't even know it's a matter of the year of the monkey. Marine is really rich and powerful, and he didn't even bat an eyebrow when asking the price. At this moment, a powerful person became yin and yang. A drop of water stirred up thousands of waves, and Marine was the least welcome here. But now all kinds of Yin and Yang voices came. Since these few auctions, Marine has taken to most things. This is not good for everyone. With this Wukong technique again, Marine's strength will increase a lot, and it will be a disaster for us people by then. Yeah, it seemed that we have to cooperate with each other. All major forces began to communicate with each other, and they did not shy away from it in front of Marine. Doflamingo also sent people to the Beast Pirates area quietly. Aren't you the Revolutionary Army? Tezzalo was sitting 2 seats next to Sabo, and at this moment he also touched him quietly. Sabo's eyes changed, and a faint fire appeared. Don't worry, I'm here to help you, my lord Tezzalo. Tezzalo smiled slightly, exuding an arrogance that didn't match his attire at all. Only now did Sabo start to look carefully at this down-and-out person, and his expression immediately softened. Regarding the actions of these people, Chen Fang did not express any opinion. They also knew that this was to stimulate the bidding in the auction, which was not considered an illegal auction rule in Chen Fang's place. On the contrary, Chen Fang was more happy to see this kind of scene happen. These people are still discussing. Chen Fang is not in a hurry to take out the 3rd lot. Indeed, this kind of scene is what he really wants to see. It's too much. CP's face was furious. Most of these people were pirates, and they dared to confront their marines. It was courting death. I also think, why don't you teach a few people a lesson? Garp said angrily, picking his nose as if for a year. This CP almost jumped up, but after seeing Chen Fang on the stage, he immediately sat down safely. No matter how angry he was, he had studied all the bloody cases that happened in the auction house before, and he didn't want to be a pool of blood on the ground of this auction house. Of course, it's possible that there wasn't even blood. CP gave Garp a blank look, then sat down firmly. If you want to kill me, let's settle accounts with them after leaving the auction house. Garp grinned. Being targeted by these people was completely predictable, and he was not angry at all as an old Jianghu. Congratulations, Marine. Another good thing. Chen Fang didn't forget to prod while everyone was indignant. Next is the 3rd lot, Zanpakutō Zabamaru. This is the same type of weapon as Suzumabachi last time, and it is also unique to my auction house. For specific functions, please see the big screen. The big screen lights up, and Abarai Rinji's battle rage plays continuously. The system made a systematic edit of those scenes after Shirkai and accompanied it with a passionate music, which even made Chen Fang feel excited. Originally, Chen Fang did not plan to exchange the Zanpakutō, but his budget was limited. Although this knife is not bad, it is still slightly inferior to Suzumabachi or other lots. However, playing the video like this adds a bit of color. Of course, this is from Chen Fang's point of view. In the eyes of others, this knife is still the best product. Even without Suzumabachi's special 2-hit kill, it still doesn't affect its power. I don't need to say more about the quality of the knife. Everyone has seen the specific functions. The starting price is 10,000, and the default price is 1,000 every time you raise your sign. Chapter 37, The Power of the Shinigami System. Wizarding World Auctions, this knife doesn't look as amazing as the previous auctions. These big forces must give us some chances. Don't think about it. How can I say it is the quality of the Supreme Sword? Looking around, how many people have the Supreme Sword? Discussions erupted one after another. Especially some swordsmen. Zanpakutō of Tiantian Auction House has also become a topic of discussion for a long time. It's really amazing that the sword of the Tiantian Auction House has the same characteristics as eating devil fruit. Forget it, it's still not suitable for me. After the price of a great swordsman was overwhelmed, he shook his head and put down the sign in his hand. In contrast to Suzumabachi, Zabamaru did not arouse the frenzy of these swordsmen. But that doesn't affect Zabamaru being snapped up in the slightest. Some demon fruit power, and some physique experts are quite enthusiastic about Zabamaru. Is this Zanpakutō? Sure enough, the eyes of CP next to Garp are brilliant. Although he came here this time to inquire about the situation, he also wanted to see how miraculous the items in this auction were. The sacred fruit and Wukong did not see the actual effect, but Zabamaru could try it out when he got it. Compared to Suzumabachi last time, Zabamaru this time is not so scary, but it's still a magic weapon. Garp said in a deep voice, "I heard that last time Suzumabachi was stolen by Zeke Rear Admiral and killed many people in Marine. Haven't they been caught yet?" After being choked by Garp so many times, CP finally found a chance, with a sarcasm in his tone. "You don't need to worry about this. We will hurry up." Garp frowned. This matter has always been a hatred in his heart. Suzumabachi, which was finally photographed, was taken away by his own people, which is really a joke in the world. Not to mention being ridiculed by those hostile forces, many Marine compatriots died. After chasing after him, that guy was quite proficient in using Suzumabachi and killed many people, and he is still at large. Vice Admiral Garp, don't forget that we belong to one family, naval headquarters, but belong to the world government. You don't need to worry about that. You are just a spy organization. While grumbling, Garp raised the cards in his hand. He didn't even need to hear what the current price was, and the price was constantly increasing as he spoke. Damn Marine, 50,000. Big Mom also couldn't understand Marine's behavior, and she wanted to keep this knife even more. And for a while, they began to compete. It was only 50,000, but Garp didn't care at all and went up to 60,000. 80,000. Big Mom didn't hesitate, but this time Garp hesitated. There are still 2 auction items that have not been released yet. They have just spent a large amount of resource points. If something shocking to the world appears later, they will not be able to afford it. On balance, Garp chose to give up. Zabamaru was acquired by the Big Mom pirates. Marine didn't gain anything, and everyone looked over gloatingly. Garp naturally ignored it, quietly waiting for the next auction item. "I'm sorry, everyone, my auction house's rules are quite free. You can do whatever you want here, as long as it doesn't affect the auction. I won't interfere with you. But it's not good to dig around like this." Everyone didn't know what Chen Fang was talking about. Suddenly, several figures suddenly floated on the walls around the venue. The entire venue was full, and even the place next to the wall was full of residents watching the show on the Sabaody archipelago. Even if it's a battle between big shots, they can follow along to watch the excitement. What's going on? How do these people fly? No one knew, except of course Garp and the CP member next to him. The few people who flew up were all CP members. In addition to observing Chen Fang this time, they also had another task to study the structure of the auction venue. In addition to taking various photos, they also collected evidence on the spot. The entire venue was under the control of Chen Fang, and these people secretly engaged in petty tricks for a long time. Obviously, there was something wrong with them. It won't matter if they take these things away, but rules are rules. Everyone, even if you don't take pictures to watch the excitement, I welcome it. However, for those with ulterior motives, it's better to hide their thoughts in their stomachs. If they show it, then they will be embarrassed. As Chen Fang said, with a wave of his hand, those people began to dissipate into particles. Sure enough, just like the rumors, with a wave of your hand, you can wipe people out. It's too strong. Is this the president of the Tian Auction House? I just saw one of them scratching the wall, and I followed suit just now. If I did it twice, wouldn't I be dying soon? Then you have to pay attention. All of a sudden, whether it was someone who had seen Chen Fang's attack before or a newcomer, they were both shocked and frightened. As for the indiscriminate killing of innocents, not a single person said that at all. Even if they were watching the fun, they all knew about Chen Fang's glorious deeds. Celestial dragons kill, as they say, and no reason is given for killing these people here, and no one dares to say anything. The smile on Garp's face was gone, and looking at Chen Fang, there was a trace of deepness on his face. Chen Fang seems to keep a kind smile all the time, but he kills people unambiguously, which is really terrifying. The CP on the side saw that his eyes were burning. Just killing innocent people indiscriminately like this is not in compliance with the rules. His teammates disappeared too quickly, and he couldn't stop them at all, but he didn't want to hold back his anger. He didn't want to do anything. He still needed to say a few words. My rules are rules. Do you have any opinion? Chen Fang turned his head to look at CP. Although there was still a smile on the corner of his mouth, the cold light in his eyes made the temperature in the auction venue drop a bit. You! CP jumped up from the chair angrily, panting heavily, but sat down again after weighing for 2 seconds. Angry is angry. As an elite member of CP, if it weren't for this mission, he wouldn't even say these words. Dealing with these people is just a blip, and soon, the auction will be back on track again. Sorry to keep everyone waiting. Next is the 4th lot in this lot, the Ice Magic Stone. It was still a familiar box, containing a crystal-clear rhombic spar. The cold air is continuously released from the spar, which is full of mystery and power. Everyone, please listen to my next words clearly. The Ice Magic Stone. This is a stone full of magic. As long as you embed it on your body, you'll be able to obtain the ability of ice modeling magic. As for what is the shape of ice, it is the ability to make ice into various shapes as weapons, the specific situation, the old rules. Please see the big screen. Chapter 38. Ice Shape Magic. Holy Magician, the big screen lit up in an instant, and ice arrows all over the sky rushed towards all the audience like raindrops. This realistic effect made those ordinary people lean back one after another, as if avoiding an attack. Of course, this is just a picture of ice modeling magic being cast. Then, in a young man's hands, various weapons appeared, all of which were made of ice, and they were powerful, as if they had the power to open up the world. The ability to make ice. Isn't that the ability of Admiral Akiji? It's amazing. This doesn't look like Kuzan Admiral at all. Marine exclaimed beside Garp. Not to mention these little soldiers. Garp looked surprised at this moment. It was Akainu Admiral's ability just now. And now it's Akiji Admiral. It won't even have Kizuru Admiral's ability. I think it's possible. This place is amazing. Everyone began to discuss eagerly, and the enthusiasm of these people exceeded the previous lava style. Lava style tends to be more like paramecia, and the ice-making ability is a proper logia. Although there are fundamental differences, they are similar in use. Moreover, the ice-making ability is far more practical than lava style on this sea, and its importance is also different. It was Akainu just now, and now it's Akiji. Where did all his items come from? The CP on the side looked at Chen Fang and the auction house like a falcon. Before you say it, don't be too impulsive. This kind of thing is what Marine must win. Garp looked at the ice magic stone, his eyes glowing eagerly. As you can see, as long as you have this ice magic stone, you'll have the ability to make ice. That is to say, this ability is not fixed for anyone who takes it away. Of course, if you want to have a perfect ice-making ability, you also have to practice hard. I won't talk about more. The starting price is 30,000, and no less than 3,000 each time. Let's start fighting. As soon as Chen Fang's words fell, the calls for bidding began one after another. Even if this is a hot potato, as long as it is used well, there may be a qualitative improvement for some small and medium-sized forces. Of course, these small and medium-sized forces are just trying to think about it. After all, so many big forces are watching. 100,000. Garp was full of arrogance, and he did not hesitate to ask for a price. 150,000. Whitebeard also thought, Big Mom and Kaido will not give up. The ice magic stone is equivalent to a Logia devil fruit. If it is used well, it will be the next Akiji. And there's still replaceable Akiji. No matter which big power it is for, this is a useful thing. Garp understood this deeply, and he didn't hesitate to ask the price. 160,000. 170,000. The Revolutionary Army will not let go of this opportunity, Sabo said firmly. This is one of his target items this time, which can greatly enhance his strength. Before the other forces raised their placards, Garp continued to bid 200,000. How many resource points did Marine redeem this time? This is too ruthless. Don't let other forces survive at all. You can't let Marine succeed. Come on. Whitebeard pirates, Kaido, and that young man. Guys like Marine are definitely more prepared than us. What should we do now? Someone in the Revolutionary Army said. I can't help it. Let's give it a go. There's another lot, the finale, and Marine will definitely want it too. We won't grab that one. After making a decision, Sabo raised his placard again. 250,000. Kaido and Big Mom have given up fighting for it. At this price, it will be very difficult to increase it one step further. Have you reached your limit? Then I will pay 260,000 yuan. Gar paused, then stopped hesitating. Sabo's face was ugly. This time, they had prepared so much. It is not so simple for their revolutionary army to prepare a large amount of supplies at once. 260,000 is already an astonishing number. Sabo's face became extremely ugly, and at this moment, Tezelo leaned over again. Mr. Sabo, why don't you consider my suggestion just now? 260,000 for the first time. At this time, Chen Fang had already started the countdown, and Garp had a smug smile on his face. These things should be owned by Marine. Whitebeard was about to make an offer to prevent Marine from winning the lot, but Sabo's voice got ahead of him. 300,000. With the help of the Golden Emperor, adding tens of thousands is no problem at all. Now it was Garp's turn to stay. There was one finale thing that hadn't come out. Originally, he was thinking of using 260,000 to get the Ice Magic Stone, so it doesn't matter if he gave up the suppressed item. However, the price is now much higher than his budget. 300,000 is the price he used to compete for the finale item. Seeing that the item was photographed by the Revolutionary Army, Whitebeard stopped talking. Marine has been silent, and other forces are naturally happy to see it. Since I can't take pictures myself, it doesn't matter as long as it wasn't taken by Marine. Tezelo also had a look of excitement on his face. Tens of thousands of resource points are nothing to him, and now it has made the situation worse. And he has directly brought into full play the maximum use of this small sum of money. Marine has been chasing him for so long, and now that he has a relationship with the Revolutionary Army, it will not be easy for Akainu to catch up with him again. Sabo also thought about it at the beginning. If he got involved with the Golden Emperor, he would inevitably conflict with Marine. Although there have always been conflicts, this is a direct conflict with Admiral, and it will still be troublesome if it is not handled well. But now, Sabo can't control that much anymore. Compared with some unknown troubles, it is obviously more important to get the Ice Magic Stone now. The Revolutionary Army was very happy to get the Ice Magic Stone, and Tezelo was even happier. Seeing that Marine didn't succeed, the others were also in a very good mood. Only Garp and others sat there with depressed faces. Marine isn't doing too well either. I thought Marine could keep going. The bidding failed, and the voices of cynicism kept coming and going. After finally catching an opportunity, he was able to taunt Marine openly. If he didn't speak up now, it would be when. Even knowing that Marine Liu was there for the finale item before, it didn't affect their ridicule at this time. After getting the Ice Magic Stone, Sabo took Tezelo and walked directly outside. Please bid out our last auction item now, Xian. Do. In Chen Fang's cadenced introduction, everyone present couldn't help applauding. Hearing the fairy beans, Sabo paused. This is also one of his goals for this auction. But Sabo didn't stop there either and continued to walk outside. It is impossible for such a good thing to be photographed by his underfunded Revolutionary Army. There are gains and losses, and with the Ice Magic Stone, his gains from this trip are huge. Sabo left directly with the Revolutionary Army, and Tezelo was among them. Chapter 39, Kaido being teased. This time, there are 5 fairy beans in total, and they will be packaged and auctioned directly. Let everyone enjoy eating at once. I don't need to emphasize the role of Shindo. Even if you haven't been here, you should have heard of it, so I won't affect everyone's time. 5 fairy beans. The starting price for a package is 50,000 resource points, and each increase must not be less than 5,000. The last item on the lot turned out to be 5 celestial beans. This is a holy medicine. 5. It means that you can be reborn 5 times. This time, I will do everything I can to get it. It turned out to be a holy medicine. I didn't grab the previous ones. I must give it a try. Sharkstar also firmly said. He has never participated in an auction, but this time he's still lost out of experience. I thought I was well prepared, but I didn't expect that these big forces would want to move out all their family properties one by one, which is a bit impossible to be true. Some middle-level forces have already begun to put all their eggs in one basket. Garp's eyes lit up again. This is mine. He had been intercepted so many times before but this time he made up his mind to take it down. No one thinks there are too many fairy beans, and they feel that only a few are not enough. Garp is also rejoicing that he has not been successful before, and now he still has a huge amount of resource points left in his hands. 100,000, 110,000, 150,000. The price has been soaring, and even though it has reached such a terrifying figure, there is still no force that wants to stop. It is already the last item to be auctioned. I don't know when the next auction will be. Let's talk about the price first. Sharkstar also kept asking for a price, and he couldn't care so much at this time. Soon, the price reached 200,000. At this time, only some middle and high-level forces are left. However, the battle scene is still quite hot. Garp, you Marines don't want to get it. Kaido laughed and ordered his subordinates to raise the price again. Whitebeard didn't say much, and the same face continued to raise the price. Garp has never been ambiguous. No matter how much the price is added, he will increase it. 500,000. In the end, Garp didn't bother to grind up little by little and directly bid a price that made everyone shut up. This time, Bailey can't be used. No one present can get the 500,000 resource points. At this moment, Whitebeard's voice also stopped. Marines' preparations this time were really adequate, surpassing any of their forces. It's different to have the support of those 5 old guys. Garp was slightly relieved, but this time he wasn't too happy. He still remembers the scene of being cut off by the Revolutionary Army just now. One person's money may not be enough, but the money of the 2 of us can add up. I want to. When the audience was quiet, Doflamingo's tone came out in a fluttering manner, as if everything was under control. Kaido looked at Doflamingo and grinned. 600,000! Adding 100,000 all of a sudden, the people present exclaimed even more. Garp's old face wrinkled. The forehead lines on his forehead were like ravines in the wasteland. His eyes were red, as if a fire would burst out the next moment. Doflamingo, as 7 warlords of the sea, I'm sorry, Vice Admiral Garp, I wanted to. Doflamingo pretended to be very helpless and waved his hands, but his mouth was almost grinning to the back of his head, so what an embarrassment. President, hurry up and announce. Kaido urged. Chen Fang did a good job of embarrassing him here last time, and Kaido didn't have a good look at Chen Fang. Has no one offered a higher price? Chen Fang ignored it deliberately and glanced at Whitebeard intentionally or unintentionally. Kaido's nostrils were filled with gas, and now, if someone makes a move, even if they join forces, they can't be too presumptuous. I don't seem to get anything tonight, so let's go to 700,000. Whitebeard said unhurriedly. It was as if he saw Chen Fang's eyes, but what he said was indeed reasonable. The Whitebeard pirates haven't harvested a single good thing today. It seems that the war of fairy beans will continue. 750,000. At this exciting moment, Kaido continued to bid. 900,000, Whitebeard said calmly, his momentum shocking the audience. What is Dad doing? We didn't prepare so much this time. Seeing this scene, Jaws couldn't help whispering to Ace beside him. Just wait and see. Dad has his own plan. Ace smiled mysteriously. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates knew that they hadn't prepared so much money at all, but none of them acted differently. No one in the room doubted it, even if it was a sky-high price, but the person who made the price was Whitebeard, so there's nothing to doubt. As expected of the Whitebeard pirates, the last time they gave out 2 million yuan. This time we can't use Bailey, and we can still get so many resource points. Didn't you hear? Last time Whitebeard took Kaido to the bottom of the sea, and the Beast Pirates managed to catch Kaido up. The Whitebeard pirate group has a tendency to become the One Piece King. The audience was discussing excitedly, and Garp looked unhappy. Why does this old guy have so many? Doflamingo's face also changed drastically. All this was completely beyond his expectation. When he thought he was winning, Whitebeard went out and bid so high that Kakuzu took it back with his mouth grinning to the back of his head. 1 million. Kaido and Doflamingo hesitated for a long time, and after looking at each other, Kaido also called out the sky-high price. If you want it so much, I'll give it to you. Whitebeard spread his arms, without any hesitation, as if he was quite happy. Ha ha ha, I knew it, old guy. Garp laughed from the sidelines. Smart people can see what's going on at once. Whitebeard may really want this, but it's more of a shit-stirring stick here. Things that can be taken for 500,000 yuan, but they are called 1 million. Congratulations to Beast Pirates for winning the elixir. Chen Fang stopped counting down and slapped the table to start the settlement. Not forgetting to raise an eyebrow to Whitebeard, Whitebeard also smiled. The two didn't speak, but they seemed to be saying to each other, "I jet you." In fact, Whitebeard did see Chen Fang's wink just now, but at the same time, he really didn't gain anything, so he just played a hand directly. After all, it is because of Chen Fang that he is now young, and he feels the long-lost relaxation. It is only natural to do a little favor. After winning the lot, Kaido lost all smiles and looked at Chen Fang and Whitebeard viciously when paying the money. But he has no choice. He really can't beat them. Chapter 40 Super Scion 1. Looting the origin of the world, the auction ended, and after everyone left, Chen Fang immediately opened them all. This time the auction ended, and it was the richest he had ever been. Although there is no system reward, he can use this huge amount of resource points at will. I don't care about money. Money ignores me. I have to calm down. Don't squander. After Chen Fang outputted his thoughts, he finally converted into a Super Saiyan form and stopped spending. Now he is enough to walk sideways in Pirate World, so he is not in a hurry to exchange so many skills. Ninjutsu is still not fully proficient, and new skills can be eased. Hey, what is this? Just as Chen Fang was about to exit the mall, he saw a portal on the home page, which also said Single World. Chen Fang remembers it clearly. There was no such thing before. Is it possible that the substore permission can be purchased directly? The system detects that the total resource points harvested by the host exceeds 5 million, and a Single World is activated. After the host is purchased, as long as you fully grasp the world, you can get the origin of the world. Xiaobai explained from the side. The origin of the world? What's the use of that? The origin of the world can be used to enhance the power of the auction house, including the coverage of the auction house, or the authority to open branches, etc. There are many benefits. Hearing this, Chen Fang became interested and continued to ask Xiaobai, "Then how do you know that I have mastered this world?" There are two methods. 1. The host can obtain enough resource points in this single world, and 2. Directly plunder. There are two methods. One is simple and rude, and the other is more complicated, but this is not important. The important thing is that this thing is really interesting. Let's take a look first. Although there's a lot of money at the moment, but after changing a portal, half of it has already gone. After the redemption, a new portal appeared beside Chen Fang. Chen Fang walked in impatiently. The screen changed instantly, and a cool wind blew across Chen Fang's face. It was another forest. For the first moment, Chen Fang thought he had gone through the wrong portal and came to the world of Ghost Slayer. Chen Fang started to fly towards the air, suspended in midair, and began to observe. So it was an observation, but Chen Fang's speed was not slow. Along the way, Chen Fang didn't sense any powerful aura. It really is a single world, not as complicated as Pirate World. But Chen Fang also didn't feel any living person. This world is composed of a continent with a huge area, and it is also full of various materials. Chen Fang found some minerals, and after taking them away, the system converted them into resource points. Enough resource points? Direct plunder? How do you judge this? Xiaobai, what does the world say? Chen Fang was about to have a few words with Xiaobai. At this moment, a flying creature with a mouth full of fangs suddenly rushed towards him. Chen Fang smashed it into pieces instantly with a wave of his hand, but this time there was a group of people behind him. This is something similar to pterosaurs, but even bigger, and its strength is no longer comparable to that of ordinary birds. Chen Fang waved out a wave of light, and a group of pterosaurs were wiped out. At the same time, Chen Fang was surprised to find that after killing these monsters, the resource points also increased. After seeing the living creature, Chen Fang came to the ground and searched more carefully. He was just observing the landforms and buildings of this world just now, and he hadn't noticed these yet. Now, as soon as it lands, you will discover the special products of this world. Every monster with a strange appearance. As soon as they saw him, they all gathered towards him. Isn't this a zombie? Looking at the group of people around who were neither human nor ghost, Chen Fang understood. Chen Fang was surrounded by dense zombies. Chen Fang picked up a fire style, and most of the zombies turned into ashes. However, Chen Fang also discovered that even zombies have their strengths and weaknesses. Some of them can still withstand a fire style that he has at hand. This defense alone is stronger than most soldiers in One Piece world, and after some broken legs and feet, it still doesn't affect their actions. Others are huge in size, extremely strong, or extremely fast and agile. Of course, they all became victims of Chen Fang's test, and Chen Fang also gained a lot of resource points. Soon, this area became a pure land. Host, this is a zombie world. Except for some ores, all other creatures are zombies. If you kill zombies quickly, you will get resource points. In this special world, the host control method is very simple. Just kill all zombies. After dealing with these zombies, Xiaobai took the initiative to explain to Chen Fang. In this world, auctions cannot be held. Killing zombies will give you resource points, and killing zombies can be regarded as ruling the world. It is indeed the same thing. Simple and rough is not bad. Chen Fang thought about it, but immediately jumped up high, suspended in midair, looking at the continent that could not be seen at a glance, and the blooming zombies everywhere. Kill them all? What year and month is that? Is it possible to buy a Kamehameha, Qigong wave? That doesn't work. It's over if you blast out of this continent. It's not called control, it's called destruction. Xiaobai, can I call for help? Chen Fang asked in a flash of inspiration. Yes, Xiaobai replied. This thing is easy to handle, and it can make a lot of money. Chen Fang left the zombie world and returned to the auction house. Xiaobai, please set it up for me. Except for me, everyone else who kills zombies here can only get half of the original reward, and the other half will be automatically transferred to my account. No problem, it's set up. In terms of efficiency, no one can compare with the system. It's done, it's time to call someone. After the auction ended, Chen Fang set up the auction house as a villa again. Regarding the operation of the system, he does it all in his own room. After leaving the zombie world, he ran out immediately. Uncle Rayleigh, do you want to earn resource points? Looking for someone, the first one is naturally Rayleigh. Chen Fang came to the place where Rayleigh was drinking and said with a smile on his face, Boy, your expression doesn't look like something good. How could it be? Uncle Rayleigh, you are an insider of my auction house, so I gave you this benefit. You will need 10,000 resources to buy this stuff. Chen Fang took out a light card with the words Tian Tian Auction House Mission Card written on it and threw it to Rayleigh. What is this thing? What's its function? Are you not doing auctions, but retailing? Rayleigh asked curiously. Chen Fang smiled mysteriously. This thing has only one function, which is to enter and exit this door. Chen Fang made a random move, and a door of light appeared instantly. Chapter 41 Develop the Doomsday World. Let the pirates work for me. What is this? Rayleigh was even more confused. A colored door, or door shelf, seemed to him, since there was nothing behind the front. I call it the portal. Shall we go in and have a look? By the way, you take the sword with you. It will be more convenient. Rayleigh had a strange expression, but he still took the sword and followed Chen Fang into the room. It looked like it was going through a door frame, but the picture that Rayleigh imagined coming out from the other side did not appear, but it felt like he came directly to a new world. If it weren't for the wind blowing everywhere in the air, and he couldn't see the side at a glance, he would have thought it was just Chen Fang changing the style of the auction house. Did you see that thing? This thing is called a zombie. As long as you kill him, you can get resource points. There are only a few points for one, and some are powerful. 12 points are possible. As soon as Chen Fang and Chen Fang appeared, they didn't need to take the initiative to look for them. Zombies would immediately come looking for them. What time is it? It's too little. And when will the 10,000 yuan ticket be paid back? Uncle Rayleigh, wealth does not always accumulate, and you will know it once you kill it. Instigated by Chen Fang, Rayleigh slashed at a zombie. Pluton Rayleigh's swinging knife is difficult for ordinary strong men, let alone zombies. With this knife, the entire row of zombies was divided into two halves. The strength is not strong, but it is still at the level of an ordinary Marine. With so many resource points, it is almost the same. Rayleigh understood immediately. He didn't even need to investigate. Since so many zombies had just landed, it was obvious that these things were endless. If the strong come over, they will soon be able to pay back. If I want to go out, how should I go out? I can't let you take it every time. You just need to press the button on this ticket, and there will be a passage to go out. Chen Fang showed Rayleigh the light card just given to him, and there was a word out on the disc. Rayleigh clicked, and a circular hole of light appeared beside him. Just go in. Just go in. Stepping in, the next moment, he appeared in front of the internal portal of the auction house. I have accepted this ticket. I will go in and have fun when I have time. Being able to go back and forth between two strange worlds with one kick is probably unacceptable to anyone, but it happened in the auction house, and Rayleigh is no stranger to it. Don't worry, Uncle Rayleigh. It's up to you to spread the word. I knew you, boy. How could you give it to me for nothing? Soon, news about the portal spread across the ocean. The Tian Auction House has a new project. As long as you buy tickets to go in and kill zombies, you can get resource points. Pluton Rayleigh personally tested it. How much is the ticket? 1 point for 10,000 resources. This is too expensive. As long as you go in, you can keep earning resource points, and the moment you pay back your capital, you are constantly earning. It doesn't matter. Let's go to the Sabeti archipelago to see the situation first. The resources in the sea are too difficult to get recently. In view of the trust in Tian Auction House and this wave of publicity by Pluton Rayleigh, Sabeti archipelago, which has just receded from a wave of enthusiasm, is once again lively. Is that the portal? There's a wall behind it. Could it be that they let us crash into it? Just go and see. Next to the gate of the Tian Auction House, a light gate stands there. Chen Fang directly put the portal outside and, at the same time, retracted the protective cover, leaving a place for the portal, just for the convenience of those who will do tasks in the future. Isn't this a glowing wall? Someone walked over and couldn't help but use their hands to test. But touching on this light gate is completely touching on the wall. Whoosh! The light flashed, and suddenly a figure walked out of it, startling the people watching the excitement in front of the door. Ow, how did this come out? Everyone wiped their eyes. They all tried it just now. There was clearly a wall opposite, but this uncle just jumped out of the wall. Didn't you say you need a ticket? Without a ticket, you can't get in. Rayleigh flashed his cards and left the crowd. That's Pluton Rayleigh. Never mind, I'm going to hurry up and get resources and get a ticket. Those present were all little pirates. After hearing the news, they rushed over immediately to confirm the matter. After being confirmed, the little pirates immediately saw the hope of earning resource points. Father, is it the auction house's job to call us here? Ace asked on the Moby DK. Whitebeard called George Ace Marco over. You should have heard that Rayleigh guy contacted me personally and asked me if I was interested. It seems that we have to make this trip. Whitebeard said, recently, the resources on the sea surface have become more and more difficult to find. It's not bad to go to the auction house to see this task that can earn resource points. Marco nodded and said, then the three of you will follow me to have a look. Okay, Dad. What the hell is this Chen Fang doing? Naval Headquarters, Marshal's office. Sengoku tapped on the table in doubt. The last auction did...
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.